All right, we're going to give this one more try. 5th or 6th time's the charm. I've lost count. I'm going to see if this has fixed the crashing. If it doesn't, we're doing this some other time. Investigation part 2. There were gremlins and engineers, and Iris looks stupid, and stuff is happening, wax, things. Let's just make it happen. Boom. All right, Naruto's place, because that's where we're starting. We're just doing it. We're going in. We're happening. Suzuto, she's back too. Yeah, also that. Oh, this room, it's been too long. I've been waiting to say this for an hour. It hasn't changed in the slightest, though. The hell it hasn't. And it's been some 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar. I didn't know when you might return, and I wanted everything to be as you left it. Is that your excuse for doing nothing? But it has been some 6 months, it's true. Feels like it's been 6 months. Yeah, you still look ridiculous. Can we just not go out looking like that? I'm pretty sure there's some copyright infringement going on there. I know this game is full of it already, but geez. So is your father all right, Susie? What happened? My father? Yeah, the one you left for. And it was half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan. Because of the telegram you received saying you'd fallen ill with a high fever for some unknown reason. Oh yeah, we're still waiting for some closure on a lot of plot points here. I know I blasted through my my recap for obvious reasons. I need to get this done before I have to take off. But we are getting into the weeds here, where we're going to start needing to get some answers to stuff. We have a case, but I'm sure we'll be learning some stuff on the side here too. So I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised but happy. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you, that it was all a trick. My father is in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that. Yeah, but you had a conversation with Soseki, didn't you? We're all delayed to have you back. It was quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium. Oh, is your dad here with you? Did you come with your dad? The International Forensic? That's the same symposium Lord Vortex mentioned. Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris. Or are you going to tell us how you knew about the transcript from last game? You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan. Yes, of course, I shall. And there's one other thing. Something you wrote in your letter that particularly grabbed my attention. The letter you didn't read? About you-know-who. About cost. Wait a minute. Did I get this letter? Iris said last stream at the end of the trial that she hid it on us. Did I get it? Was I given it? I'll tell you all that I can. Okay, but first of all, though, can I interest you in a shovel? Thinking back, that spade's been in here since we first moved in, hasn't it? I'm sure I've told you before, Mr. Naruto, it's not a spade, it's a shovel. I thought you were just going to passively aggressively, because we keep just calling it different things. No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade. No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel. The great spade shovel war rages on. Okay, I've done what's important. Iris is just chilling. Okay. Oh, Giselle. Yeah, we still need answers on Giselle. That was the first case in the first game. Bloody hell. Man, there's a lot we still got to hear about here. We're getting to that time. When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. Well, the Windows update certainly tried to make that true. Oh. Maybe I should turn the music on. You missed nothing. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely. Which trial? The awful trial? The original one? We're going back. Ooh, you dressed as a man there, didn't you, Susie? Oh, right. There's technically there has been 2 Giselle Brett trials. One where she was the murderer and one where she was the murdered. We might need to specify there, Susie, so poor Psy'Min knows what's going on. Oh, well, yes, since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing! I wish I'd seen it. Don't you, Ryu? Yeah, I suppose so. I want to play at being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe, and call myself Saseki. I don't think any mustaches could hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. Is that a challenge? There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Miss Suzuto. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikitoba summoned you back to Japan. Yeah, no kidding. You said in your letter it was something to do with that convict's loot we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Yeah, the blood-covered 1,000 guinea rupee collar thing. That's right, the very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem on it. That's still a total mystery. It seems Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Britain. Oh, that's going to set someone off. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet. Why would that be then? Did he murder someone when he was in England? Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What did you get up to when you were here, old man? I could only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But he refuses to tell me what it was, and I intend to find the answers for myself. And I've decided that I for one, won't keep any more secrets. Well, that's good to hear. Oh, Susie. By the way, I think I got suspended because of something you did, by the way. Oh, gave Iris a meaningful glance about secrets. Yeah, Iris, we got news about your dad. We never actually told you, did we? We might be getting to that. Lord Vortex mentioned something about that symposium, too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries would attend. Yes, and from Japan, my father and Judge Jigoku have been invited. We get to see Japanese judge in Britain. It's something of an honor, I believe. Well, Professor Mikitoba is the leading expert in forensic medicine in our country, after all. I'm glad you specified in our country. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say? Oh, yeah, I guess Naruhodo wasn't around when we learned the judge's name. Yes, His Excellency, Judge Shishiro Jigoku. You've been at Naruhodo. He's got like 10 beards. Last year in the Supreme Court, you can't possibly have forgotten. Film grain flashback. That terrible trial of yours where you were accused of murder. Like the protagonist always is at some point. Yeah, I try to think of that as a positive turning point in my life these days. Yep, there it is. Just a whole bunch of tiny little beards. Yeah, yes, it was Judge Jigoku who presided over that trial. Apparently this guy's got some stuff going on, too. Looking forward to how this turns out. If I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy never to see that man's face again in my life. It's intimidating. One beard is enough. I can barely get any peach fuzz. Have you seen me? Oh, well, anyway. His father was invited to the symposium. He agreed to me returning to Britain, too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. So I pleaded with him, and in the end he agreed to me going on ahead. Oh, you arrived before your dad. Ah. Yeah, about the symposium. It seems as though Lord Vortex has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important. I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Vortex organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General. The most senior position in the British justice system. He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what Father said anyway. I was about to say, how do you know all this? Apparently it's Lord Vortex's lifelong ambition. Does Professor Mikitoba know Lord Vortex personally then, I wonder? Everyone knows everyone in this damn game. Actually, Lord Vortex gave me a long speech all about that very subject only yesterday. But I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't really listen to much of it. He talked for literally hours. How trying for you. It's the first time he's ever been late for anything in his life. But it couldn't shut him up. Giselle Brett. The woman whose unforgivable actions ended in me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Watson. Wait, what was that? Yes, Giselle Brett. That's a name I won't forget for as long as I live. The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget. Sorry? Since the incident, our government's intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. Oh, let's get into that spice. But it turns out that an Englishwoman by the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist. What? An Englishwoman by the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist. Didn't exist, but how can that be? Was she a hit woman? It was a pseudonym. Her real name... Her real name was Shin. And she wasn't a visiting student either. That was a front. I've been wondering when that name was going to come back up. Shin. Shin was one of the 4 names at the end of the first game. It was the one name we didn't know. Remember the 4 names that were really important that were on that Morse code metal disc? It was Tobias, who was obviously Gregson. There was Kazuma, Asogi. There was Dr. John H. Watson, of course. And there was Shin, and we didn't know who Shin was. Giselle Brett was Shin? Oh, tell me more. Front? Who on earth was she then? Miss A. Shin. She technically had 2 Shins, but she was called A. Shin for some reason. Her name is literally all our intelligence services have been able to ascertain about her. Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery. Man, she could teach our ninjas something. But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. What could the woman have been up to? I'm afraid I really don't know. You guys are acting like I don't recognize the name. Oh, I know it. I'm waiting for you guys to recognize it. The only thing we can be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand. So at the very least, the 4 names, as I was theorizing, or I'd heard theorized at the end of the last game, it wasn't a hit list. Because Shin was a hit woman herself, possibly. But then again, maybe there is some credence to that, because Watson's dead, and now Shin is dead, and Asogi, in fact, Tobias is the only one on the list who's still alive. I assume he's going to continue to survive, because he's Tobias Gregson, and he's a major Sherlock Holmes figure, but maybe they do kill him off. That would be interesting. And then again, the question is why? Why are these people on that list? But regardless. And now she's been killed. Come on, guys. Clue in. Waiting for that recall while all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered. I can't ask too many questions. I'm on a clock here. A. Shin. Who on earth was she? I'm going to assume that A meant asshole. And why do I feel as though I've heard that name somewhere before? Yeah, just like Psy'Min says and has been saysing for a while now. What about Kazuma? Is he still dead? Because I've seen someone with a mask and, I don't know. After my friend Hiyori's trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange. Yeah, this is the thing. Maybe Kazuma was a waxwork. Maybe that's how he faked his death. I don't know. I don't actually know Kazuma faked his death. He just seems like the obvious choice for the guy in the mask, but we'll see. Oh, you expect me to remember your voice? I'm not even trying. Mamamomi. I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on and that visiting student's fate. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship. Maybe they don't know because he didn't. And that he never... Then he got thrown across the room by the judge. Whatever his name is, Sling or whatever. Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time because he got thrown into a wall. But later, I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what was going to say about Kazuma. Oh. And what did you learn? I was right. This is that spice. What's going on? We're getting into it. After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladen at the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of the consulate staff there. No, he's alive. He's gotta be. He's gotta be. Should have been. Well, it turns out that his body never arrived. It just disappeared. You bastard. I know where he is. We're going to Damon Gant's office now. What? Kazuma's body vanished? Our government tried to cover the fact up, it seems. They erected a grave on the cliff by our hometown. Yeah, no kidding. Except Kazuma isn't there. I dug it up and checked. Did Professor Mikitoba know about this? That's some wild stuff. Yes, it would seem that he did, but he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma's body as we speak. Oh, that dramatic music. I just don't believe it. And what is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? Why is he Batman now? Thinking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Eclair were definitely... Was that the name of it? Did the mod change the name of the ship? I'm pretty sure it was a name starting with B, like Buria or something. Buria. Waxwork! I'm calling it. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? I mean, faking his death would imply that his death was planned. Did he take advantage of the fact that something happened? Was he in cahoots with the Russian crew? Like, all of this is a stretch. But it's clearly what they're hinting at. Could it be? Could it be that he's actually still alive? Stop it, Mr. Naruhodo. It's too much to bear. No, really. I think I've seen him. Like 2 streams ago. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Just thinking about the possibility pains me so very much. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. Hey, I didn't see anything. His body was gone by the time I got out of the closet. When Cosmo was discovered, Mr. Holmes was there, wasn't he? Yeah, but Holmes has been keeping his own secrets. I don't trust nobody at this point. You're all in on it. Everyone, even the cat. I'm still saying the cat's the mastermind. That's still my theory. And he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly. Ah, you're right. He's definitely in on it then. You were just fangirling, so you just believed anything he told you. So if Cosmo hasn't actually been dead at all, it would mean that Mr. Holmes had lied to us. Well, I'm glad we're bringing that possibility up. But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing that you know of. I suppose that's true, yes. Hey, Iris, what are your thoughts on this? If you tell us everything you know, we know. If you tell us everything you know, well, we'll tell you about your dead dad. The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. It wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it. Because if it turned out not to be true, oh, sad eyes, knew it, then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. No, we can't give her hope just to give her despair. This isn't that franchise. I'm terrified of what that might do to me. Oh, Miss Suzuto. I know she's given the idea the thought it deserves. It's Suzuto we're talking about after all, so I probably shouldn't push it now. Yeah, give the girl some credit. Good job. Okay, that is some stuff. Iris, can we talk to Iris by clicking on her? You're just sitting here patiently listening to us yammer away. It must be about a year ago now. What's been a year ago? Oh, a year ago this game hasn't started yet. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. The dead father? Oh, wait. It's about one of Holmes's greatest exploits. I call it the Hound of the Baskervilles. That was the manuscript that was locked up in Windibanks. But then Mr. Holmes forbade you from publishing it. Yep, exactly. Oh, is that why? Is that collar something to do with that? And that's why he's saying, nope, 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 nothing to do with this is getting out. Nope. Is that all connected? Who am I kidding? It's an Ace Attorney game. Of course it's all connected. I put the manuscript somewhere no one can get their hands on it. A pawn shop. So nobody knows anything about it, apart from Holmesy and me. Why did I say me? That should have been I. But for some reason, you knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Oh, yeah, this. Your father knows something about that. And you wouldn't tell me. How'd you come to know it? All right. Is that all coming out now? We're emptying all the dirty laundry? Yes, but I made you a promise that I would explain one day, didn't I? I think it's time. This is going to be a way longer episode than I think, isn't it? Strap in for 6 hours, except not, because I'll need to cut it off. I'm only sorry I had to keep it from you for so long, Iris. Your dad is so dead. It was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, The Hound of the Baskervilles. What? My Baskerville story? Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time. But Father came in and... Suzuto, what are you doing? Oh, Father. Did you look at those papers? No, I simply read the label, that's all. Well, put it out of your mind. Sorry? Forget that you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anyone else about this. Do you understand? Maybe don't label your stuff in things you don't want people to know about, Dad. Alive, Dad. But what was Iris's manuscript doing in Japan? I have no idea. But when I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed. that it was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Holmes's exploits. The hell? When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions, and there was no sign of the big box in his office. Still not sure what's going on? That was a Gina. That's really all I know about it. I've no doubt that Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you. Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie. I'm going to shoot your old man now. Then we can both be fatherless buddies. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I've committed every detail about the case to memory. I love her leaned-in, determined smile face. Just the animations in this game. I keep commenting on them, but they're awesome. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well, even though they don't really matter as far as we know, but we'll see. So you're fully abreast of the situation already, Miss Suzuto. I expected nothing less, to be honest. I would think our first port of call should be investigate this Mr. Drebber, the engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick. Yes, a conjurer of sorts by the sound of it, well known in the fields of science and magic. Then we need to go and arrest him and throw him across the room. and Iris can shoot him as well. We got some dangerous ladies in here. Well, yes, he must know the truth behind this case, so I agree we really do need to find the man. It sounds like it's a case of tracking someone down. Which is a job for the police, or a great detective. Watch Holmes be depressed downstairs and doesn't want to do squat. Are we supposed to guess who she might be thinking of? We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think. Whoops! I don't know whose voice that was, but I was saying it like Iris. Good idea, then. Rio, why'd you sound like me just then? Don't worry about it. You're not coming today? You've already got a partner. Susie's back, so I'm fucking off. I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. But let me know how you got on later, won't you? Oh, good. I don't need to be embarrassed in public with you. Oh, wait. You're kind of a spectacle yourself. Could we get you some normal clothes, Suzuto? In fact, I think there's an option to dress you up in some of Iris's clothes in the option menu. That was a little abrupt. The pull of the herb market must be strong. Iris, what are you smoking? Is that where you get your ideas? I guess we can move now? A new location's been added. Where? No. What new location? You lying sack of crap. I guess not new to us, maybe new to this chapter, in which case I'm not sure which one that was still. Oh. No Holmesy. Do I get to examine your blackboard thing? This blackboard's where Iris scribbles down her latest ideas, isn't it? Giant hat like Mickey Mouse. Brilliant. Let's see. Oh, she seems to have drawn a lot of little stick figures all lined up. Look. Cheap apples at the market is what all of them say. There was some Gina in there, too. What? The little figures can speak. All your questions would be answered if only you would read this month's Rancid magazine. So I'm the only one who can't make any sense of this. I got my achievement finished for that. The Herlokian. I don't have to look at your stupid blackboard ever again. Alright. Yep, that's just when you left it too. No need for that, no need for that, no need for the prosecute. None of this is new. I guess we'll go back here, because we're doing some stuff, right? We get to actually inspect, which we couldn't do last time because of privileges. Suzuto should be impressed by all... Gina? Gina's got a thing for dogs, apparently. I had no idea there were so many people in the world. I know what you mean. It's really packed here today. Just wait until Tokyo in 2020, guys. It feels as though it's taken us 2 hours just to make our way through the crowds to this point. Probably was. Has it? I shut my brain down, so I didn't really notice, to be honest. Hey, you got the right idea. Gosh, I wish I had your absence of mind sometimes, Mr. Naruhodo. Obviously, Gina, I'm guessing. Oh, there you are. I had a feeling you lot would show up your mugs before long. Please don't steal my money. Oh, no, never mind. Gina's still enamored by the dog. We're dealing with Gregson. Oh, Inspector Gregson. What the hell's wrong with your voice? I see you're hard at work as usual with your ventriloquism.
Warm greetings to you. I do hope you've been keeping well since last we met.
What's with all the ceremony? We just saw each other in court this morning.
Not you, Sunshine. The gentlewoman so loyally at your side.
Oh. Why, thank you, Inspector. How good of you to notice. Gregson's quite the ladies' man, except with Gina. He might be a bit rough around the edges, but he's still a proper English gentleman at heart, I suppose. As you probably guessed, we were hoping to investigate the scene some more.
Right, well, that's the young trainee's domain. Oi! Get over here, Gina!
I like his over-the-shoulder look. I like little animations that pop up sometimes. Oh, man. She is just... She's got better things to do, man. Is that dog going to be a factor? She seems to be playing with a puppy. Probably giving it a traditional East End training. I'm going to teach it to help you pickpocket. Gina! She's a police officer now? Amazing, isn't it? Boy, you missed some shit.
She's a good kid, actually. Heart's in the right place anyway. She's got the detection bug, if you ask me.
She's a streetwise kid.
Yep, I think she'll follow in my footsteps nicely.
What do you mean? What are you setting her up for?
I'm being transferred. Oh, it's time for me to say toodaloo to London.
Oh, you might be getting, you might not be long for this world, buddy. I'm just saying. Oh, no, really? That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea. Where are you going to be posted then? We'll come see how you're getting along.
Stay the hell away from me. Not likely. But you're welcome to try, if you don't mind a trip to France, that is.
France?
I'll be working in the Paris police prefecture. Should be right up my alley.
But France, it's an entirely different country. I don't understand. Why would you be sent there? Do they even have a Scotland Yard in France? Actually, why do they have a Scotland Yard in England? Should it be in Scotland?
That's the way the adult world works, Sunshine. Don't go poking your nose in when it's not wanted.
So much for being nice to us. I'm intended to take the kid with me when I go. Oh, so we won't be dealing with your Gina. You're taking her off.
Well, I can't leave her here in London. Who knows what'll become of her?
I think she'll be fine. She got along just fine without you. I suppose he's worried she'll slip back into slipping her hands into people's pockets and purses. Okay, well, yeah, there's that. But bad news, it's not like she ever stopped doing that. I don't think he's worried about her pickpocketing, Mr. Naruhodo. I think he's worried about the Reaper. Oh, interesting. So that's playing on Inspector Gregson's mind too, is it? Yeah, like seriously, why are you still breathing?
Anyway, I haven't mentioned any of this to Gina, so don't go on blabbing, you hear me?
No, of course not.
I gotta keep that diving diva safe and sound. Until all this is over, at least.
All this what? This particular trial? Gina? Or! You just called me a bloomin' diving diva again? Oh, she's triggered.
So you heard that, did you? Right, well, any questions about the scene, you can put into my capable detective diva here.
How is Gina a diva? Under what possible definition is that a thing? You heard the boss. Inspector Lestrange's in charge here now. Apparently, I didn't know this because I've only read like a few Sherlock Holmes stories in my life, but apparently and that was a while ago too. But apparently Inspector Lestrade is a character in Ace Attorney. I'm not sure if she's still a boy or a girl, or what age she is, or whatever. I'm guessing they've taken some serious liberties with her character here. Not that I'm complaining. I love Gina. But apparently Gina is a thing too. Some people were worried they'd change her name as well, just like they had to change Holmes' name to Pig Latin. But, yeah, apparently she's a character too. Interesting. Good to know. I suppose I better keep my word and not mention anything about Paris. Also, apparently one of the names that was changed, because the mod changed all the names to essentially the fan translations. Dabinbo's real name is apparently Albert Hairbrain, which is, I'm assuming, besides the obvious last name pun, supposed to be Albert Einstein. I mean, we've had William Shakespeare, we've had, Sherlock Holmes. Hey, why not? Albert Einstein. F it. So, Gina, you got a new dog, have you? Oh, I get to pick up the puppers. Ain't it great? Toby's his name. Toby? Why'd you name him after Toby? Oh my god, it's the dog who was mentioned on the disc. The dog's gonna die. Oh, how delightful. He's absolutely adorable. Yeah, the dog does seem lovely, but it's not so lovely Inspector Gregson that's playing on my mind, to be honest. I heard Gregson's leaving, so I just kind of replaced him with this. Roughly the same thing. Investigate the scene. Gina? We were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again. Be nice. Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do what you like. Oh, that's alright, is it? I'm going to be playing with a new friend here. I don't have duties. I'm just messing around. Ah, yeah, Toby. Ah, puppers. The machine that exploded must be at the top of those stairs, I presume. I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind. Oh, sorry, you can't go up there, Suze. Suze, is that a new one? Can't remember if she called her that. It's like I told Otto yesterday. Even I ain't allowed near that wreck. What's it called again? A reason we ain't supposed to touch it? The special dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. Is that what you were thinking of? That's the one. That's what only them lot are allowed to investigate it. What are they called again? The forensic something? Yeah. The forensic investigation team. No, your friends are not sick. That's the one, yeah. Maybe I should be the inspector. Give me your badge. You'll just steal it back again anyway. But isn't it the case that the special dispensation has been lifted? I think so. I don't really get it, to be truthful with ya. It's still supposed to get permission from some bigwig as far as I know. What was his name again? Lord Strange something? No, it's Vortex in this translation. I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina. I think you mean Lord Vortex, perhaps. Oh, that's the one, yeah. Apparently he's always watching the time or something. So without Lord Vortex's express permission, we can't investigate the stage. Well, now we know why his office is an option. It was great, wasn't it? I had a right laugh. It was a new one on me, that. You know, being in court, not spending the whole time worrying about I'm about to be found out. I was in trial as a good guy. Yeah, I didn't comment on this at the time, or at least I don't think I did. It was funny listening to Van Zeek say that, one of the witnesses is a Scotland Yard detective, so their testimony is very credible. It's like, you didn't think she was credible 6 months ago, buddy, or 6 months ago. You did keep an awful lot of secrets in all your previous court appearances, didn't you? Yeah, and Otto made things odd for me every single time and all. Just doing my job, Gina. But watching something else get it in the neck is a lot of fun, actually. It was amazing when you showed that dodgy professor's dodgy experiment was a total fix. Laughed my ass off. The dodgy professor, as you put it, Gina, is Mr. Naruhodo's client. Yeah, I'm starting to wish he wasn't, though. I'm really hungry for broccoli every time I talk to him. It's the boss I feel sorry for, sent off to do the impossible. Oh yeah, what's that? What do you mean? He's supposed to arrest that other cove, ain't he? And in time for tomorrow and all. Oh, he's got to find the engineer. You know, the dodgy engineer. What's his name again? Mr. Drebber, you mean? Enoch Drebber? We're almost playing Gumshoe to her Phoenix. She doesn't know Jack, and we're the one with all the answers. That's the one, yeah. So the police are looking for this mysterious man with the black monocle. I guess they would be. It's putting too much effort on the boss, if you ask me. He says it's giving him good ache. Maybe he should stop eating fish and chips every 5 seconds. Oh dear. But I do wonder if that actually isn't from all the fried food. Yeah, exactly. Susan knows what's up. Then she just almost thought we were getting an option about Toby's diet. So Scotland Yard is trying to track down Mr. Enoch Drebber. I wonder if they've had any luck. He's really funny looking. Got 2 eyes what don't match. Stole a glimpse of a picture of him earlier. Real funny looking fella. I mean, I didn't actually pinch it enough, fun. The old devil's got it. Sorry who, Toby? You know, a scowling Reaper. What was gurgling down glasses of that blood red plonk? Oh, okay. He means Van Zeeks, not Reaper. Not Gregson. He's always at it in for me, that cove. I don't know what he's always scowling about mine. Well, maybe he's just wondering how you're still not, you know, all over the place. Or are you just charging up your ultimate demise like a Mega Buster? Probably would have been a pretty good boss as it goes. She'd rather be the Reaper's apprentice than a detective's trainee. I mean, he is more interesting. The way I see it, if the choice is between a chip-guzzling detective and a chalice-guzzling demigod, you're equally badly off with both. There's an expression we haven't seen in a while. I suppose you're right. I hadn't thought of it like that. At least I get to drink a lot when I'm in him. Glad we put that one to bed. Anyway, the point is, everyone at the R's dead set on finding a fishy engineer. But there don't seem to be no clues to go on, so they're stuck. Oh, guess what my job's going to be this investigation? There's nothing that can lead us to Drebber at all. Still wondering about that conspicuously left crossbow, but we'll talk about that later. Where'd you find the little mutt then, Gina? I knew she was going to get mad about that. Oh, don't be so flaming rude, Otto. Slight overreaction, don't you think? Why don't you call my dog a mutt? He's no mutt, all right, Toby. How'd they put it? Oh, yeah, a bona fide detective. Oh, is that his breed? He's a detective. Sorry, I'm giving him a proper title and everything. It's Chief Inspector Toby to you. Don't we already have one of those? More senior than Inspector Gregson. Oh, okay. He's been promoted above him. Is this going to be our new missile? Is he going to sniff something out? Oh, so he's a police dog, is he? He is now. The police recruit dogs now? I've heard that they're already being used officially in Germany as part of their city policing. They're used for chasing criminals and such like. They have a wonderful sense of smell, after all. I have a fairly good sense of smell myself, as it happens. I can tell undergarments that have been freshly laundered from undergarments that haven't. I don't want to know how you've been refining that skill. We're talking about something else now. Ah, that's nothing compared to this little fella, Otto. Oh, really? According to what the boss said. What's Toby ears got a good whiff for your drawers? I love that pose. Hey, could chase that set to the other side of the world. What? To the other side of the world? You mean he can swim? That wasn't the takeaway point. I think you may have missed the point by rather a wide margin. I just can't believe this little dog has such an incredible skill. By the way, I have a crossbow I'd like you to smell. When are we going to get to that? I'm telling you, Otto, there's going to be more and more dogs doing their bit for the police in the future. I think the police just have a fondness of dogs. That's all this is. Yes, I agree. Right, one of these days, I'll be barking orders at us lot, not the other way around. Oh, dear. Sorry, Gina, I don't think I agree with your vision quite that much. Well, anyway, whatever you think about that, Toby is Britain's first police dog. I found him down the East End the other day. Someone had just chucked him out on the street. Ah, there you go. I knew she lifted him from somewhere. Yeah, he's not a police dog. He's just a dog you found. Oh, Gina, you're such a kind-hearted soul, aren't you? To children and to animals. That's all we got? I really want to show you this crossbow. Tell me you can smell this. Nope, not wanting that. Why is it folded up again? You lifted it? Oh, come on. Show it to your dog. All right, fine. Be like that. What else we got? You going to comment on this? We can ask you about a few things. I'm sure you react to something. There we go. Gina, have a look at this photograph. Does it make you laugh? It's amazing looking down on everything from up there. I love our places, me. You do? I can't stand looking down at the ground when I'm high up. I figured a street urchin would be happier, down low. Shame. I want to show you what it's like, but I ain't no point now. Why not? If all you're going to do is look up at the sky, I ain't going to be able to look down on you. With you, sorry. I mean, I don't look down on you or nothing. If you don't want to do it, it's your choice. I think you just revealed something there, Gina. I don't think I ever want to go up in a balloon, to be honest. Not my whole life. Now I'm starting to think I might like to. That's it. That's all we get. Doesn't make much sense. Don't really care. I don't think that's going to matter. None of this seems super useful. I guess we'll leave it for now. Do we have well, yeah, I mean, we got permission to whoa, no. That's not what I wanted. How do you do that? This... Oh, I clicked on look around. What about this thing? Why is this still here? Here's the scorching on the ground that you mentioned. Did we just throw the evidence back on the ground? Yeah, well, there's what's left of the green balloon's envelope. All clear evidence of the balloon that exploded on the day of the incident. Poor Professor Jabinbo. I do feel sorry for him that his dreams have been shattered like this. Someone well and truly burst his bubble, as it were. Ha ha ha! Too soon. Ouch. I'm a bad person. Yes, you are. Not sure what examining the point of this. Whatever. Ah, the Crystal Tower. Is there a Russian revolutionary in there? I can't believe I'm seeing it in such close proximity with my own eyes. You've really been looking forward to the great exhibition, haven't you, Miss Suzuto? Oh, yes. When I found out that I had to return to Japan, I'm afraid I cursed my luck. But here you are, back in London, gazing up at the magnificent tower. I know. Perhaps I was wrong to curse my luck so harshly. Okay. Do we have other things that we can look at? I'm assuming that's going to take us up, so we'll save that, especially since Gina told us we can't go up there yet. Maybe I have to talk to Vortex first. What a shame that the symbolic landmark of the Great Exhibition has been damaged like that. Yeah, unfortunately the birdcage crashed in the most prominent position possible. It's the gods giving us a warning, if you ask me. Man must travel under his own steam and not cut corners with instantaneous kinesis. But imagine what might have happened if the birdcage had landed in a slightly different location. The death toll could have been far worse. So I think perhaps it was a blessing in disguise. Well, the gods are benevolent, obviously. I did say it was just a warning. Man must travel under his own steam, or next time bird cages will rain down on all of you. That's a fortune cookie. Your faith is much stronger than I realized. Well, how do you think I passed the entrance exam for Yumi University? It wasn't by studying alone. It wasn't by studying at all. Alright. I wondered if I could examine the balloons. Oh, look, a flying balloon. I've never seen one in the flesh before. They're not made of flesh. I can't understand how they can fly, and so high up as well. Oh, but think of the view, Mr. Naruhodo. You must be able to see for miles and miles. I do think of it, and it terrifies me. I mean, it would be certain death if you fell out. I'm sure they're perfectly safe. After all, they've been invented by some of the brightest minds in the world. Let's not forget that we know at least one has exploded. I'm sure there are other ways to fly. I'm sure Iris has a design for an airplane somewhere in her study. Ah, there we go. Oi! That's off limits up there! Trying to sneak past me again, and I'll stuff your gold full of the boss's fish and chips. Yes, please, I love fish and chips. That's a deal. Trade accepted. I suppose we need special permission. Alright, go talk to Vortex. Animal Zeeks is this is not. This is. Where is the new place that said it was an option? Because none of this is new. I'm still confused by that. Alright. Well, let's go chat with this guy. Let's see. Oh, new character. I was going to say, we're probably going to... The game didn't really need to give us an excuse to come here. They could have just said, okay, special dispensation act over, off you go. But it sent us here to talk with this guy, and I have a feeling we're going to get a chance to elaborate on some of what we got from Suzuto earlier. Also, who's this? Yeah, what I said. I wonder. I've never seen her before. My god, she's even more anime than everyone else in this game, and that's saying something. Ah, the young champion of the court. You had some success this morning, I understand. And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result. Oh? You mean because of Professor Debimbo's experiment? I'm going to start saying his name right. I was having trouble thinking of new ways to mess it up. Sham science being demonstrated at London's Great Exhibition. The country's been made to look foolish, and now politicians are scrambling to respond. Lord Van Zeeks is in Whitehall as we speak, giving an emergency briefing. Oh dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. Good. Take responsibility. The special dispensation that prevents investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, my forensics investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time. Pretty sure they're already there. It's scrap metal now, is it? Pretty much. Hey, cutie. Yeah, until later then, Lord Verdict. We'll figure out your voice later. Get lost. Yes, thank you. Who's that? That was Dr. Oh! Her. Okay, interesting. Oh, things are starting to click. So last stream, I found it very curious that the coroner's name was on the coroner's report, because that's not something they usually bother with. That's a detail that, no game designer would consider worth, like, why are you putting this here? But the coroner's report during the case had a name on it, and I remembered commenting at the time. It was Dr. Courtney Scythe. So she is going to be important. Is the dude not dead? Is it actually a waxwork and she falsified a coroner's report to make it look like they died? Like, is she in on it in some way? Oh, that's going to be interesting. There's a lot going on here. I have no idea what... I got no theories right now. I'm just spitballing, but... interesting. She's leading the forensic investigation team handling of this case. Oh, I'm so involved. I can't even do voices right now. She was just delivering a report about the victim, in fact. Oh, I see. About Mr. Meningen. Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to reevaluate its findings. Double check. Make sure it's not made of wax. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly. Oh, believe me, I will. You can find her in the forensics laboratory. All right. Now, what were you here to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time. Okay, I got 7 minutes and 39 seconds. So he's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore. All right, Clockman. What exactly is the forensics investigation team, FIT, that you mentioned before? The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we establish forensic science and everything it has to embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created the forensics investigation team a year ago now, unofficially, of course, to pave the way. Goodness, a year ago! At next month's symposium, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensics division. Why would they oppose that? And once that happens, the power of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly. What do you mean? For too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. But London's scum is about to be rounded up and burned in the fires of hell. I intend to see to it personally. Are you the one that's been killing the Reapers, the defendants? By creating the finest police force the world has ever known, to protect our honor and our future. Look at those eyes. He means every word. Dr. Scythe is an extremely reliable coroner. I will see about that. When I officially establish the forensics division at Scotland Yard, she will run it as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikotoba. You would call her that. Your father should be on the high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan. Yes, that's right. I understand he will arrive at the beginning of next month. Are you acquainted, Lord Vortex? With Professor Mikotoba, I mean. Tell us more! It was many years ago now, but yes. I remember Dr. Mikotoba very well. Plot. If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student. It was the year I was born. So yes, 16 years ago. Oh crap! Who's your mother? No, I guess you can't really fake that. Your mother would have just been in Japan, stuck there because 18th century and women. Just the Ace Attorney triggers are just firing and I'm blurting stuff out. Mikotoba was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Jijuko, you know him too, accompanied him as a young promising judge. The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. And then I met you. Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in any way, but yes. I didn't think that you were. Dr. Mikotoba studied forensics at one of London's largest hospitals. St. Enstriud, if I'm not mistaken, which I probably am. Dr. Scythe was also there then, as it happens. Every single one of you is connected. Then Dr. Scythe knows my father, does she? She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. But I've no doubt they knew each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikotoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total. 6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it? That's why he was hanging out with Dr. Scythe. He was studying abroad. I lived with my grandmother in those years, so he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years? Your mother's going to end up being someone. I just know it. It's going to happen somehow. It was a rather turbulent time at home. Oh? Perhaps Father wanted a reason to get away. What do you mean? Why? Let me guess. Clearly something was going on at the time. Your mother's dead too, isn't she? Or you think she is. Dun-dun-dun. I want to ask you about Lord Van Zeeks, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago. Oh yeah, by a mass murderer known as the Professor, who targeted nobles and royalty. Is that right? Is that the only reason we're going to be going back to the Wax Museum to learn more about that? You Japanese are a thorough lot. You've done your research well. Yeah, yes. Whoops, wrong voice. And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper. What? Why? When his brother, Klimt Van Zeeks, was murdered. It was just after young Barrack had graduated from the University of London and become a prosecutor at the University of Time and Law, or Teleportation and Law, where obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing. Rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Londoners started to say that whenever Baron von Zeeks went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind. Oh, snap. Oh my word. So Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, it's the ghost of his brother. Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles. Speaking of which, can we ask you about his apprentice? Because apparently you sent him. Oh yeah, Lord Vortex. Go ahead. It's about Professor Dobinbo's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the remains if possible. I'm almost at exactly 7 minutes and 30 whatever seconds. Are you well versed in science then? Not the slightest. In fact, you could say I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently. Well, the special dispensation legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Scythe's team of forensics experts will begin their own investigation. But I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at the wreckage, as long as you touch nothing. Thank you. Being able to look at it is better than nothing. And I'll be able to see it too. Yay! Your time is up. Yeah, pretty much on the dot. Yes! God, I'm good. You'll have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls. You are on time because of me, sir. We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you are so busy, my lord. I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium, you understand. That took a whole 10 seconds to tell me that you didn't need to tell me. Quit it. Alright. Has it? I'll be the judge of that. Boop, 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 boop. And we're going up. Oh! You know what? Let's save that. We want to go to... Let's just do our thing here first. Hey, Gina. Get to go where we please now. Get out of my way. Oi! I saw Flimmets up there. Trying to sneak past me again. I'll stuff your gob full of the boss's fish and chips. Hey! We got special permission. Are you serious with me right now? Do I have to go here first? That makes no sense. Alright, show me your crazy mad doctor setup. Yeah, that's a mad doctor setup. That's terrifying. I'm going to have to come up with a voice for this lady. Damn it. I believe this is it. Dr. Scythe's lab. I'm just going to keep calling it Scythe, even though that's not really how you spell that. That chemical spell really assaults the nose, and there's plenty to assault the eyes in here, too. Yeah, no kidding. It looks as though the doctor isn't here. I'm sorry, what? But we're here now, so we might as well do some sightseeing, don't you think? Ah, there's that Maya shining through. What a seasoned tourist you become, Miss Suzuto. Grab everything that's not nailed down. That's a little Gina in you, too. We could just have a little look around, being careful not to upset any restless souls. Yeah, there's lots here. I don't... Ooh, what do you got here? Look at all the bottles on the shelf of these cabinets. What an assortment of chemicals. These ones here are labeled highly toxic. That's worrying, because there's also things that look like salt and pepper shakers in there. Oh, yes, and they actually say salt and pepper oil. The hell are you doing in here, lady? The doctor probably spends a lot of the time in this room, I suppose. Perhaps she has meals here sometimes. Yeah, this is where I want to have my, lasagna supper next to the cadaver. Da-da-da. I'm expecting her to jump in on us at some point when we look at the wrong thing. A table and a set of sharp tools. When you consider each in isolation, it all looks quite innocent. So why is it you put them side by side? They seem so horribly disturbing. It might be best not to ponder it too deeply. Are you sorry we stuck around, Suzuto? Seeing the large tomb that's open on the desk does make me wonder, though. How can anyone concentrate on bookwork with this acrid odor of chemicals in the air? You'd either have to have a cast-iron constitution or a really terrible sense of smell. Or just be into that shit. Speaking of your book, look at this big, thick book here full of confidential information we're just going to read. It appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic team, investigation team's spending, I think. Look at this section labeled bribes. Oh? What is it? It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but one entry seems rather strange. Really? In what way? They're buying 500 scalpels every month. 500 scalpels? What? They must be working really hard at dissecting corpses. I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances. Also, why do you need to replace the scalpel every time? And scalpel blades can be sharpened, too. Exactly. It does seem a bit strange, you're right. 500 scalpels a month. What could they be possibly using all of them for? Why is that a note worth noting? There we go. We saw the plot-specific thing, and now we're getting jumped. Okay. You. Oh. Interesting music. Melancholy. I like it. I like it. Huh. What do I even do with you? I think maybe just... I'm thinking Suzuto, but sharper. But the problem is I get Suzuto's voice by taking all the sharpness out of my voice already. We're going to have to play with this. Sorry, we had something to ask you, but you weren't here, so we just decided to poke around. All right. So you thought you'd snoop around? That's acceptable to you people from the East, is it? Well, what do you want? Lord Vortex told us that it was you who examined the victim's body. Mr. Minigen's body, I mean. So we came to ask you about your findings, on Lord Vortex's advice. Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation team revealed. But when we're done, you must leave immediately. Try to make her as curt as possible, because that just seems like what she'd be about. You're gonna be... It's either you or the engineer, or both of you. So you want to know what the forensics investigation team determined from its examination of the scene? The victim, Mr. Elder Minigen, who disappeared from the Boy, trying to do this and then do it fast is maybe not working out. From the experimentation stage amid an explosion. And the Mr. Minigen who appeared moments later partway up the Crystal Tower. Were without question one and the same person. That is the team's conclusion. Oh, really? But that can't be right. I think you're lying. Because there's a waxwork museum we keep visiting, and I don't understand the plot significance if you're being honest. If it was an elaborate trick, we could only speculate about how it was carried out. Let's see. If two people who looked very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as if one single person had switched places, couldn't they? Very true. But sadly, in this instance, that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who subsequently reappeared was the same person. How could you know that? It's not like you could examine the person who disappeared. The fingerprints at the scene make that quite evident. Ah, fingerprints. They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system, but one day they will be used as an investigation aid as a matter of course. Oh my, but that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually took place. So where does that leave us? Yeah, we're still up in the air about whether this worked or didn't work. I'm still leaning toward didn't work because science, but some people are very insistent for some reason. My team was tasked with investigating, not drawing conclusions. Oh, sorry. Instantaneous kinesis is impossible, and yet it did it. So it's not impossible. Wait, I'm confused now. This hasn't cleared anything up at all. It's made the whole thing even more of a mystery. So his fingerprints were on the thing. So bloody... What am I looking at right now? What the hell? I think I've seen pictures of this individual. Why is everybody wearing masks? Is this Asogi? Asogi, you've gotten bustier since last I saw you. I'm guessing this isn't the engineer, because we already know the engineer is a guy. I'm pretty sure there's a woman. Mama. Mama. Mama, I don't want to die, so please put your 500 scalpels away. Ah! Where did she spring? Okay, so it is a woman. And did she just call the doctor Mama? Is this a bird theme going on? This is a lawyer, dear. Oh. No, that's not Rinosuke. Why? I don't want more girls. Hello. To meet you. Pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer. Rinosuke Naru. Mama. Mama. I'll just give her a girl's voice. From this, maybe it is actually her daughter. I mean, look at her hair and her complexion. I mean, and her body. I mean, she just looks like her, but 10 years younger. Yes? Can I cut this one up? Could you not? What? No, sorry. We were leaving. Bye. Jesus. I've never seen inside an Eastern. How am I doing this? If Mama is going to be Suzuto but Curter, then maybe the girl can be Gina but Curter. I've never seen inside an Eastern person before. I want to know what it's like. I'm trying to make it more childish, like Irisy. Of course you can't. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see. I'm just talking about being the third person. Is that a problem? Boring. I think I just had a near-death experience. I do like the Plague Doctor mask. I have one of those. IRL. Oh, dear. Mr. Naruto, you're as pale as a corpse. Don't tell them that. Let's leave before I'm mistaken for one. Peace out. Okay, you're still here. Is your friend here? I have an examine option, but no option to scroll around, so what are you doing at the moment, Doctor? You don't seem very busy. I'm just doing my JoJo pose. Keeping a close eye on things so no impertinent Easterners think they can look around my office. What's with the 500 scalpels again? Are there some impertinent Easterners around? How terrible. If I see any, I'll let them know. Yes, you. Oh, right. She doesn't mince her words, Miss Suzuto. I think perhaps it's time we left. We are not welcome here. Okay, I'm probably not going to be able to look at things while she's around. Okay. Yes. Interesting group of people. Very much goodbye. I really should go to the Waxwork Museum at some point, but we're not really done here. Do I get to tell you to get out of my way? Hell yeah. Piss off, Gina. Gina, we were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again. Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do what you like. Oh, that's alright, is it? Yeah, show us the pupper again. That's why we're here. I'm going to be playing with my new friend here. Can't blame you. Oh, yeah, Toby. Better Toby. Literally outranking Toby. The machine that exploded must be at the top of those stairs, I presume. I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind... Oh, this is a repeat. Why is it giving me the same dialogue? Hopefully it ends differently, because we have permission now. Oh, sorry. You can't go up there, Suze. Oh. It's like I told all yesterday. Even I ain't allowed near that wreck. What's it called again? A reason we ain't supposed to touch it. The dialogue that we've already done. I don't really want to repeat it again, so I'm just going to kind of go through it and see if something else happens, because the fact is you got permission, and you had permission the last time you were here too, and I didn't really recognize it, but now it seems like you got a new dialogue option, so we're going to see what will happen if you get all the way to the end, and maybe there's something new that's going to happen, yeah, and if it does, then I'll let you up, and I'll go back to play with my dog. Actually, we've just recently been to see Lord Vortex. Oh, you what? You my name? The Commandicon? Last time the boss was called to go and see him. He waited for 3 hours at the Co's office and came back sniveling. Tragic. Well, Lord Van Zeeks has given us permission, or Lord Van Zeeks. Lord Vortex has given us permission to examine the scene as long as we touch nothing. Oh yeah? Honestly. Take our word for it. We don't need no papers. Alright, and go ahead. But if it turns out you're lying, it'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So you're still saying all this is above board, are you? I'm sure everything will be fine. That really would be tragic. Maybe you lose a few pounds. Alright then, ends the stairs. Off you go. I'm going back to play with my puppa. Oh, thank you, Gina. I wonder if I could have done that before I went to the coroner's office. These stairs lead up to the experimentation stage. Maybe that option was there and I just didn't bother to check. Yeah, this doesn't look a whole lot different. Why are we back here again? Still a smoking wreck. Still not seeing any teleportation science because reasons. Oh my, so this is the machine. Can't you see this from a mile away? It was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place. But the coroner said it did. Yeah, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. It's a little worse for wear at the moment. We're at the 1 hour mark. I got 3 left before I got to piss off. What extraordinary lengths Professor Dobinbo went to in order to obtain his research grant that he didn't. No. The professor was tricked as well. He didn't know anything about it. Yes, of course. It is amazing, though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British. You're right about that. You'd never see such a grand deception in Japan, that's for sure. Really? What about your own court case? Oh, look, is that... Oh! Why are you here? You don't seem like the type to sully your threads with, yeah, maybe it's because of, the defendant? So I think we're more or less done here, aren't we, Shoyo, Miss Suzuto? Already? He is the Reaper, remember. We do well to keep our distance, I think. But we have permission to be here, from the top. We're perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine as long as we don't touch anything. From the top? Do you mean Lord Vortex? Exactly. So we can stay here and stare at this wreckage for as long as we want. And you can't stop us. We're just going to stand here and stare just because we can. She could have been at the center of the explosion here and it wouldn't have bent her steel will. So, I guess we'll talk to you in a bit. What's this thing? Or is this just the machine? What a terrible explosion it must have been. Even the steel girders have buckled and twisted in the blast. And what they call the bird cage was right in the middle of it all, just here. But look, Mr. Naruhodo, that metal grid on the floor looks as though it's designed to open. I was wondering how things would have disappeared. Aha! In the words of Hajime, it's all coming together. If the floor had opened at the precise moment the explosion occurred, I'm glad this is just becoming more and more obvious now. The birdcage could have dropped through and disappeared from sight. So who was in it? Where was the waxwork? Because if it was here, the dude's dead, and I don't know how he got here in the first place. But if the waxwork was on the other side, the dude's alive and the coroner's got some explaining to do. Alright, what else we got? Investigate the Taj Mahal real quick. Oh, isn't it exhilarating? All this different architecture from all corners of the world. It does make you feel a bit like an explorer, doesn't it? I know it's all subjective, but the onion-shaped roofs have rather caught my attention personally. It is very subjective, isn't it? Not my style at all. Japanese buildings with their wood and paper construction have excellent ventilation. And I've realized that British buildings being made of brick and stone are very strong and long-lasting. The more you know about how things are done in other countries, the more you understand your own, I feel. How profound. Oh yes, I do agree with you there. I can't help wondering what an onion does for the roof of a building. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I suppose it's playing on my mind because I don't like the taste of onions. You really oughtn't let your taste in vegetables dictate your taste in ruse, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, why not? What else we got here? Scaffolding? I'm assuming this isn't... Oh? It wasn't? Or is this what he was transported in? Is this the aforementioned bird cage? This wasn't here yesterday. Really? But if I'm not mistaken, it's the cage in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air. You mean beamed through a wall? That's right, the bird cage. According to what Professor Dabinbu said in court, it's made of wood. Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. Japanese? Why would Japanese stuff be here? And despite having been in an explosion and then falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed. What wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you say, Mr. Naruhodo? I'd understand that the forensics investigation team has taken it away yesterday to examine it. I suppose they must have brought it back here when they finished their work. But sadly not with the body inside it. Can you blame them? No, that's right. I knew we were given strict instructions not to touch anything, but still, I'm going to touch it. This is too important a piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial. I'm going to stick it in my pocket. Yeah, I did stick it in my pocket. Damn. Van Zeeks, how you feel about that? You okay with it? You okay with it? Hey, Suzuto, what do you think of the Ferris wheel? I heard that a ride on the Ferris wheel is a favorite romantic outing among young London couples. I should take the coroner up there. Wait, what? I think the romance would be slightly spoiled by the abject terror personally, but then I'm not a Londoner. Are you a little scared of heights, Mr. Naruhodo? It's not that I'm scared, not at all. I'm friggin' terrified. It's just that staying on the ground seems so much safer. Well, perhaps I shall have to ask Iris and Mr. Holmes to accompany me on it in that case. When you put it like that, part of me does want to give it a try. I don't want to be outdone by the 10-year-old, just saying. Oh dear. It is complicated for you, isn't it? Alright, Zeekies. There's literally nothing else to investigate here, so let's go poke the bear. Least approachable man in the world winner, 10 years in a row. Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Your country and your assistant stand firm behind you. I'm not invading a country. I'm just talking to Dracula here. Lord Van Zeeks. God, you're a sharp-looking man. What? Well, beautiful weather we're having, isn't it? I mean, I think this is literally the first time I've actually seen you outside. Do you not burn up in the sun? I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Literally his do not disturb me pose. Apparently you Nipponese are unequipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them. But Psy'Min wanted me to poke the bear. So what are you doing here? Poking the bear. Entry to this area is prohibited. Ah, well, the thing is, it's not. Lord Chief Justice Vortex granted us permission to investigate, on the condition that we didn't disturb anything. And yet you've managed to disturb me. Oh, sorry. Am I suspended again? Never mind. State your business then. Come to think of it, there are quite a few things I'd like to ask Lord Van Zeeks about. Not least of which is that awful case, even though it's nothing to do with this case. Ask away, Mr. Naruhodo. You won't know unless you try. So, about your dead brother. So, Klimt. So, Klimt. Yeah, that's going to get a response. What's the name of your older brother, I understand? Lord Van Zeeks. Is that the painting? You Nipponese. I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. It's called a pattern interrupt. Psy'Min taught me it. So you've been investigating me, have you? Oh, no. It's not like that. I'm just, subscribe to your Twitter and Instagram, and I follow you on Facebook, and, It's not me. Suzuto thinks you're hot, not me. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the Van Zeeks family. Oh, so this is an Edgeworth situation. But tragically, A vicious killer took him from us. The professor, you mean? I'll bet it was Vortex. Hehehe. Is something funny? But that's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry, there's more to it then? We haven't actually seen the professor because his waxwork got stolen, too. We're going to find it, and it's going to look like someone we know, really obviously. Or it's going to end up being one of the people who's masked or something along those lines. Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it? You're too kind. You're going to tar all Nipponese with the same brush next? You feel like you've been doing for a game and a half now? So tell me, what's your interest in that historic incident? As it happens, Lord Van Zieks, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Oh? Do tell. Are you aware of the Madame Rosique Museum of Waxwork by any chance? You're well informed for that, considering we're not there yet. I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I feature in one of the displays there, for public scorn. Of course, the infamous Reaper of the Bailey would have to be exhibited, wouldn't he? I don't even give a shit. Do what you like. Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place and held for ransom. How this factors in is weird. You mean... Yeah, it's the professor. Mr. Holmes is investigating the case as we speak. So it's never going to be found, you're telling me. I was unaware of that. He's turned as white as a sheet. Is his brother going to end up being the professor? Oh, that's all we get to know? All right, well, we'll poke around next time we're there. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Drebber, already? Maybe he's hiding an event. Surely that goes without saying. We're very keen to see him found as well. Maybe he's using one of his stealth gizmos. The truth is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier. Which, according to Professor Dobinbu, was of a tall, thin gentleman who has straight white hair and wears a black monocle. He's level 80 and using scrapper build. So I was just wondering, I realize it's probably not possible, but we'd very much appreciate any more clues you can give us. Wow, Susanto really knows how to take the bull by the horns. Bad news, I don't take no bull. Fine, why not? I have a photograph here of the man from an investigation 10 years ago. Wait, what? Though it appears he already had that black monocle at the time. Is this going to end up being Scythe? Obviously this is a man and she's a woman, but the resemblance is uncanny. Either she's hiding, or he's hiding as a woman. Or maybe they're going to say that he's such a skilled coroner or surgeon or whatever that he gave himself surgery or... yeah. I was envisioning someone quite a bit fatter, even though they said tall and thin. What? Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us. You gave us information freely. What the hell? We all need that man's testimony in court tomorrow. Which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph? So maybe the coroner and the engineer aren't in cahoots. Maybe the coroner is the engineer. What is it about Lord Van Zieks? Sometimes I just can't work him out at all. Are you inner monologuing? The photo of Drebber has been entered into the court record. Did the coroner mention a relative? Oh, it's you again. Hello, Phantom of the Opera. This could be him as well, honestly. Look at him. And we know he was here because he was part of the ambush, because he was in the news story. We're looking for the engineer. Well, we can't find him anywhere. Bloom. How these damn stories work. It's either you or the coroner. It's probably... Hang on a second. I'm just looking at that chin. Of course, that flies in the face of what we're talking... Okay, his chin is much sharper. It does kind of fly in the face of our comments from the first part of the investigation where we acted like we knew this guy. I'm still feeling like it might be Asogi. I'm almost tempted to go look back at pictures of Asogi and see if the chin matches up, but I want to be at least a little bit surprised. I don't want to spoil things or be too certain. It really does look very Asogi-ish, though. That doesn't really mean anything. Like, look, Zeke's has got the same chin, so whatever, but yeah. Who are you son of a bitch? Suzuto, just grab his hood and run. Ah, the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Iris, lay down a smoke screen first. Thank you. The hell? Are you alright? Oh, if it is Kazuma, she's going to start, yeah, she's going to have some familiarity, isn't she? Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Van Zeek's apprentice, apparently. Batman! So I'm not the only one. Oh, does she notice? Suzuto can see it, too. Asogi, you absolute fucker. What is going on here? There's no way that is not you. Like, I'm 98.7% sure. Do it. Grab his mask and run. Lord Van Zeeks, may we speak with your apprentice for a moment? Okay. With him? Why? He doesn't do the whole speaking thing. Speaking is not, you know, wait. Okay, he does do the nodding thing. Oh, shit, we're just coming out with it. Oh, we're just not even, yeah. Suzuto doesn't, grab the bull by the horns. Yeah, bull's horns, grabbed. Hands, super glued. You talking to me? What the hell? I don't believe it! Okay, so that... I'm glad they didn't leave that mystery that long, because I have to assume a lot of players would have been like, that's... Who else could that be but? They're not going to string us along and then insult our intelligence later. They're going to be like, no, Suzuto knows what's up. Suzuto... We've got two people who are very familiar with you. Your presence, your posture... It can only be. It's you, isn't it, Kazuma? Oh, dicks. Come on, dude, you're busted. I felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure, as if I knew him somehow. Can it really be you, Kazuma? I mean, it has to be, right? Question and answer period is over. The bull is leaving. Wait! Jump him! Too late. You can't catch Batman. What are you doing? What's going on here? We have some questions about your apprentice. What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know the man or something. Well, since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago. Lord Vortex introduced him to me about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor. But he didn't tell you why, did he? Why is a prosecutor? He's a defense attorney. The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. He's forgotten every last detail about himself. Oh, we're playing that, an old chestnut? Come on, really? So did he not get killed, but he has now... Why does every game have to have an amnesiac in it? He has amnesia. Tomorrow he will appear in court at my side. Why? He doesn't remember anything. He's to serve as my judicial assistant on Lord Vortex's orders. He'll be in court with us? Why is Lord Vortex assigning an amnesiac as a prosecutor's aide? Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course. Oh, yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask you more about your dead brother, but sure, I guess, okay. If you really buy... I definitely saw a reaction there. That assist of yours is a nip and ease. When Suzuto called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When she called out Kazuma. What is this nonsense? At first I thought it was cool, but then he said it was an amnesiac. Come on, guys, don't do that to me. You already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, yesterday, in fact, at Lord Van Zeek's office. I see. And if Kazuma really is still alive, it means that Mr. Holmes lied to us. Yeah, we're gonna need to speak to him about that.
dun 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 dun. You're going to have to leave now. Dun 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 dun. The forensic investigation are due to arrive shortly. Dun 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 dun. They find out you're here. It will cause problems. Dun 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 dun. What sort of problems? I can't keep up this singing forever. That's what kind of problems. Well, we can do without that. All right, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Miss Suzuto. Oh, but I really want to hear Van Zeke sing. He's got such an amazing voice. Just booted right out of there. We can't even do nothing, can we? I mean, it was never an option here in the first place. Gina, you probably got nothing new. Oh, no, I ain't doing that. No, not 3 times. All right, let's see if we can find Holmes. That seems like the thing to do now. All right. Drebber, we have a... oh. No wonder it's called the House of Horrors. Yeah, let's see if you take this better than Naruhodo does. I'd like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the confectionery. Being scared makes you crave sweets. I can understand that. I was looking forward to a reunion after 6 months away, but... there's no sign of Mr. Holmes anywhere. Oh, really? Okay. You should be here investigating the abduction of the woodwork, I think. Oh, well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. Really? Is there nothing to do here? Oh, wait a minute. I think there's a stepladder. I get to do this with Suzuto now. Ah, there's a stepladder there. Look. Oh, yes. A stepladder. I think perhaps we should let the proprietress know that someone's left it out. The stepladder, I mean. You're doing this on purpose. Is something wrong? Why do I feel as though I just managed to sidestep an argument? There's my achievement. I can't remember. I think I'm the one who just called it a ladder, and Iris called it a stepladder, I think. What's over here? The special exhibit. It's closed off. Okay, I'm half expecting to see Holmes every time I move anything. The dude with the scarf is gone too. I don't see anything else out of the ordinary. Is this new? No. Just a shoe lying there. I feel like we can maybe come back here. Let's check Holmes' office. Is Iris here? Holmesy here? Nobody's here. Well, hang on a second. In this game, you gotta look around. They're not just front and center. Okay, no nothing. I examined the shovel already, didn't I? Gallo? Do I want to talk to him? I'm not sure why I would yet. Is there anything here? Let's go here and see if we can examine a few other things first, just to knock things off the list. Hey there, familiar looking person. You gonna interfere with us if we look at your bony skeleton person? Well, look at this. What a magnificent display case. The cherry would have been polished to a high sheen, and the intricate carving is a joy to behold. Do you have nothing to say about the skeleton inside, Mr. Naruhodo? I was trying to ignore that part, if you could just not mention it. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid talking about the terrifying contents of the case. It's how I cope! I'm sure to remember that from now on. Well, you guys are not good with horror. Is there anything else around here? Can I examine this while you're standing around? She's just taller, just like a statue. Like, if we touch anything wrong, she's going to slice our jugulars. But meanwhile, she's just observing. I suppose this is Dr. Seiss' desk. I would not like to work in a place like this, I said, completely within her earshot and a line of vision. It's very tidy, though, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Imagine how efficiently she must work. The lighting is poor, which is bad for the eyes, and the chemical smell can't be good for you either. Not to mention the skeleton washing over you as you work, which is definitely bad for the nerves. Joke's on you, I'm into that shit. Well, yes, those are valid concerns, I suppose. I could just about cope with a one-eyed Daruma doll watching over me, but that's all. Or a Monokuma plushie. Dun-dun-dun. Can I look at these? Those large jars seem to have pale, thin pale things floating around inside them. I suppose they're fruit liquors or something? No, guess again. Or like the pickled umabashi plums we make back home. Father had jars like that in his laboratory as well. I expect they're human organs in a preserving solution. Probably as an example of some rare medical condition. Still feel like a drink? Miss Suzuto, there's some things in the world that it's perfectly fine never to know about. Ever. Ignorance is bliss. So as I said, I'm sure they're fruit liquors or umabashi. Aren't they? Oh, of course. We're in a restaurant right now. Well, I think we're finished with the crazy person's lab. Okay, so nothing fancy there. I guess I just want to be thorough. We'll go to Madame Rosique's in a second, but I am wondering. He's probably not going to be here. True enough. Yeah. Okay, let's inspect stuff here and see if we can trigger anything. Yes, the heavy curtains in the middle of the House of Horrors. Whatever's on the other side of them, you just know it's going to be terrifying, don't you? Except it was stolen. The sign says it's the Madame Rosique special exhibit. It seems you have to pay extra to get inside. I know, can you believe that? Pay more money as if we haven't been scared enough already. Have I mentioned I'm streaming Amnesia: The Dark Descent later today? It's not my doing, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, what about this dude? Get your arm back? That old policeman isn't here now, obviously. Why was he here before? Who was he signaling with his scarf? We're the only ones here. I still can't believe he just happened to be on the jury, though. Yeah, that's going to factor in somehow, too. And why did he have Rolly's scarf with a price tag on it? Still a mystery. I'd understood that London had a population of 6 million people, and yet... You do seem to run into the same people disproportionately often, don't you? I know, it's almost like asset reuse. Let's examine Dude McFella here. This one's posture reveals his weakness. Sorry? The killer's stance leaves him wide open to attack. I'm quite sure I could see him off. Please do not, Suzato, take down. Could you not? That's a combo. Now I'm picturing Suzato as a character in Smash Brothers. Ground throw into a down smash and then a F smash. Right. And if that doesn't render the opponent unconscious, then a Suzato slam should finish him. It spikes. It's very OP. Oh, I'm sorry. It's rather hard to explain. Leave yourself open slightly and I'll demonstrate. Absolutely not. Full guard, 24/7, starting now. No, give me my arrow back. Comments on the bathtub again? What a horrifying scene. A murderer caught in the grisly act. I know, and in case you weren't wondering, it's the one with the big knife that's supposed to be the killer. Yes, thank you. I don't think anybody would be in any doubt about that. Surely. And did you know that according to the description, the bathtub at the back has no particular significance? What? Really? I would have thought it was meant to show that the killer also worked at a bathhouse peddling criminal wares. Aha! We have a new theory. God, I'm making more headway on this than I am on the actual case. Okay. I'm a little bit stuck, and I don't like that considering my my timetable today. Let's go to the gallows. God, dude! Do you sleep? I mean, that's better than some other things that could be getting... You know what? I'm just not even going to finish that joke. What's he doing? Oh my! The whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations. And he's still writing more now. Professor, sorry to interrupt. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I have to start all over again. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. And who is this young lady? I don't have a whole lot of experience talking to women. My name is Suzato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. Oh, if only I'd met a refined young woman like you sooner.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
None of this would have happened. I would have gotten into science. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all. Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you. I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning. No. The whole thing, the whole miserable affair, it all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot.
Professor Dobinbo? What have you been working on in your cell?
I swear teleportation works. I'm going to use it to escape. Oh, you mean that? Oh, dear, how embarrassing. I was just suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had to hand. Oh, is that some new hypothesis?
Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? Like super high voltage instantaneous kinesis 2?
We'll call it instant transmission. No, actually, this is my autobiography.
Your autobiography? Is it numbers?
How I Was Diddled and Fiddled by Benjamin Tobin.
Not reading that. Not appropriate. Not trying to get demonetized.
I found I could represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers in an ambitious set of simultaneous equations.
Really?
I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see? So I'm going to be a new serial publication for next month. Part 1, an odd birth and odd upbringing.
You can't beat this man's optimism, that's for sure. Is that an Albert Einstein reference of some sort?
I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case? Oh, yes, of course. I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled!
Stop yelling that in a prison, please.
I was fiddled by the pair of...
The pair of them? Oh, okay.
By Minigen and by that aloof engineer, Dribber.
I don't know. I don't feel like... Well, I guess if Minigen faked his death, he faked his death. Maybe it is just a ploy for grant money. But...
We're not going to have to sit through an explanation of all these equations, are we?
I don't know. Some of the viewers might be into that. Can I get some options, please? Okay.
Everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Minigen, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry it's come to that. There's really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end, there was nothing worth protecting.
Your machine literally has a false floor, dude.
It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public into thinking I was made of broccoli.
In fact, if I just leave you like this. Imagine just a face drawn on this. No, of course you didn't. Your head is just a cloud, dude. Or a really sad old pumpkin.
But in court this morning, I realized something. I am a sad old pumpkin. Broccoli! If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you're aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me. No, ignorance is bliss. Trust me on this.
Oh, Professor.
He believed in me this morning, you know. Barak did. He believed in my hypothesis.
Apparently so does the coroner for some reason. Again, I still think she's in on it.
Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case. No, Barak wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it.
Did he?
I think I understand now why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution of my trial, I mean. Because he wants me dead. He hates broccoli, apparently, and sad pumpkins. And after the terrible accident happened, nobody will believe my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even.
I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there.
So if any other prosecution had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Barak, I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense. Which it was. Just a reminder.
And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor.
Didn't really dodge that bullet, though. Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. But Barak insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. Unlike you, asshole.
What do you think that's why he...
I know very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul.
Yeah, this is the first Suzuto's hearing about this. But
But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he?
Can I just say I'm also really happy with how the stream's been looking so far? Everything seems to be actually animating pretty well, so... Whatever problems I've been running into, they seem to be getting a little bit better. Still gotta upgrade the machine, though.
Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. Need to work on the exploding.
And what about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with the kind-hearted soul idea? I mean, he's respecting your hypothesis, but dude, you are going to die. You're gonna get eaten by Mozilla or something. He's gonna develop a taste for broccoli.
Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start?
I'm sorry to say that does seem likely, yes.
When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financer. He looked over the papers I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused. He was so empathetic. But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I'm such a sad pumpkin. I still can't believe it.
Now I can't unsee it. This is just his head now.
As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic. It probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. But the scale of it wasn't just some small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception. You'd think everyone would have noticed a giant green balloon floating around, but I guess not. All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. Also, no one noticed me not stabbing someone. What's up with that? But none of us have any money. We want to do research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that, only to be taken for a complete fool. It's too rotten to believe.
It is, I agree. That's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Also, I'm happy it hasn't crashed in a while. I forgot to mention that.
Mr. Manager is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. I swear he's in a vent somewhere. Mr. Enoch Drebber. Is he an engineer, or a magician, or a swindler? Yes! It was about a year ago when Mr. Minigen first brought Drebber to meet me at my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There's no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. I see.
That doesn't discount the other things, though. They're not mutually exclusive.
But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. And are there no clues you can give us as to his whereabouts?
Give us something.
I'm sorry. We only ever discussed the kinesis machine. Nothing else. Although, just once... I did visit his workshop.
What workshop?
Drebber's enormous fabrication laboratory, where he constructs a very great machine.
That seems helpful and relevant and something you could have mentioned.
Why didn't you mention this before? Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there.
I legitimately hate you.
So you've been in Drebber's place of work, then? Yes, just once, you understand. It was an enormous place. Plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see? Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. There's a good chance we'll find Drebber there. It's in Germany.
Oh, crap.
Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure. As in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all.
Oh, you were like blindfolded and taken there?
I'm so sorry.
I was more than half expecting that.
You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. He blindfolded you. He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible. The pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best. A special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Ah, the indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formula and use that instead.
What do you think, Miss Suzuto? Own a machine for your next birthday? I'm not sure that would fit with her aesthetic. I've never used any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruhodo, and I'm not sure where I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor. You
don't have a business card for Mr. Drebber, for example. The man was clearly very cautious, Mr. Suzuto. I'm sure he wouldn't... Whoa! Yes, I do! He gave me a business card once. It's right here. Look. What? Let me see that. I'm going to throw it across the room. Throw etiquette to the wind, why don't you? Also, throw etiquette. Please don't throw the business card. Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address. Oh. Oh, well. I can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. The hell? What else is on it? No. We're done with you. You gave us a thing. We need to look at the thing. Oh. Those symbols are gonna... Oh, hello also. This dark smudge here. I think perhaps it's machine oil. Oh, yeah, possibly. Professor DeBimbo mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? We're gonna give it to the dog, aren't we? Missile, our new missile's gonna sniff it. He said it was specifically imported very high-quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Yes, that's right, but more importantly, that it's more fragrant than the finest perfume. So excuse me a moment. Yeah, get a good old whiff full of that. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all. Don't worry. I expect that's just because there's such a tiny amount on here. Okay. Of course, I had to register that before I go talk to the dog. This seems like... Really? Oh, I didn't really want to do that. Okay, I have a feeling that's going to our pupper. I mean, as soon as they introduce a dog and talk about tracking and stuff, you know that's going to turn into something. Okay. Getting the hell out of here, Broccoli. Gina? Give me your dog. Whoops. You're going to gumshoe us your missile. About this, Gina. Yeah, I'm still learning me letters at the moment. I only know A to E, so if I ain't too being much trouble... actually, Gina, it's the back of the card that's important. Yeah, I'll come. And it's not for you, it's for Chief Head Inspector Lord King Toby III. It's just old dirty old smudge on the back is all. It turns out that this is very high quality French machine oil. It has a very particular scent apparently. You know, say, let's have a whiff then. You sure? I don't smell nothing. No, we didn't mean that you should smell it. Oh, right, you ain't Toby. Hold him out, hold him out, hold him out, hold him out, hold him out. Woof. Good dog. Good boy. Who's a good boy? Yeah, you're a good boy. He says the smell is so good he can track people over the oceans, can't he? Do the hold out animation. I want to see it again. Professor DeBimbo informed us that this oil is unique to Mr. Drebber's workshop. Yeah, Pupper. Who's a good boy? Sniff. Just holds him out. All right, turn him loose. Turn him loose. Do it. I think he picked up a scent. Oh, you mean if he follows the scent of this oil, Toby could lead us to that dodgy Co's workshop? That's right. That's exactly what we were hoping. All right, then. We'll give it a go. I'll just borrow that. What? Wait. When did you... Once a pickpocket. I go to the court record. Half my evidence is gone. If I can lead everyone to that Drebber's workshop, I'll be the boss's boss before next week. Oh, yes, Gina. I'm sure you'll be promoted. Poor Gregson. He's going to be replaced by better Gregson. Better, furry, cuter pupper Gregson. All right, then, Odo, leave it to me. Sorry? We're going to get going after that dodgy Indian Cove right this minute. Oh, we'll have to catch up with them later. Oh, but hang on. Someone's supposed to be on guard duty here all the time. I'm afraid we can't help. We need to get on with our investigation as well, Gina. Oh, right. Oh, well, never mind. It ain't going to be me what gets it in the neck. It'll be the boss. Poor Gregson again. Man, I think I used to feel bad for Gumshoe. Ready, Toby? Got that oil scent, have you? Come on then, boy. Oh, that's right. See you later. I mean, she's technically still on police business. It's okay. I do hope the scent of that oil leads them to that swindler's workshop. Yeah, I hope so too. Ideally before the dog swims across the channel to France. I mean, that might be where it is. You don't know. You didn't mention how long the trip was. Well, I think we've done all the investigating we can here for now. If we could just determine the whereabouts of Mr. Drebber, I'm sure Gina and little Toby won't let us down. Now then, do you think we ought to try to speak with Mr. Holmes at this point? I was about to say, we should probably hunt him down. He's probably going to be at the Wax Museum or the office. We have things to discuss, and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months. Yeah, it's quite possible he might know something useful, you're right. We ought to find him at Madame Rosita. Never mind, he's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit. Guess he was on his lunch break when we dropped by there earlier. Yes, Iris told me all about his latest unusual venture. Suddenly excited to go back to the horror store. The horror place, not a store. Well, I guess it's a store, apparently. You can just walk off with stuff. Are you in your spot again? Madame Rosique's Museum of Waxworks. Still wondering how this is going to factor in. Here we are again at the House of Horrors. I'm afraid I haven't gotten used to the place yet. I like that the text customizes. It acknowledges that they were here before. Like, the text a second ago kind of implied that they weren't. And that's probably true in an oversight. But the fact that they go out of their way to put in dialogue like this, I love the nice little touches like that. I still like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the confectionery, of course. Susato really is after something sweet today, isn't she? Makes me wonder what dialogue I'm missing by doing other things not in order. What's the matter? Look, Mr. Naruhodo. Look at that waxwork. I'm quite sure it wasn't there before. It looks exactly like Mr. Holmes, down to the very last detail. Yeah. What is it? Oh, sorry. I think you'll find... The temporary waxwork. That's the temporary waxwork himself. We should just mess with Susato and pretend it's a waxwork. Oh, no, you're just going to pop up then. Ah, the friend of my dedicated employee. I still can't do a French accent. Oh, yeah, hello again. It's Ryunosuke. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Sounds complicated. I must say I am quite spellbound by the great detective. He is a marvel. Oh, you like him now? My precious waxwork is already back where it belongs. Oh! Oh, the Professor Waxwork is back? I want to see it. You don't mean... But yes, the mystery is solved already. Wow, Mr. Holmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough. Wait, rent stew? Give me 5 minutes. So as you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties. Yeah. His habitual duties? This is what he does now? Wait, that's not a waxwork? Alors, do not disturb. Still hot. Poor Susato. She looks very perplexed. Yeah, you just came right into this in the middle of... Wait. Oh, we're just here? Okay, can we... I mean, we still got to talk to Mr. Waxwork here. Hey, we know you get breaks. You really do need to speak with Mr. Holmes, and I am longing to say hello again. Just stand in front of him and make faces. But where is he? What? Susato. Normally so bright and on the ball. And just... I don't know. That fangirl fog is coming up in the brain. I think you might find he's quite nearby, actually. What do you... No, he's behind you now. Indeed, my dear fellows, it is I. And she's just going to jump through the roof. The world-famous great detective and waxwork, Sherlock Holmes. The hell? Just out. Susato. Susato-san, we got another body for the display. Put her in the bathtub. I should have stayed in Japan. Susato's been here like an hour and a half, and look at all the stuff she's been just like... What the hell? My most humble apologies. I thought I died and gone to eternal paradise for a moment. Via London. Nope, you're still in the horror house. My dear madam, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free deduction at some point. Tasty free deduction. As long as it's not of questionable street food quality. You did say deduction, right? Hang on a second, I need to... Tasty free deduction. Is that another word for like a confectionery food something? Is that a meaning I'm not aware of, or is he literally just offering her a 10% off just spinning around on a Roomba? I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Holmes? Number one, you're not made of wax. Merely a secret identity, you understand? Though the case is largely solved now.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that waxwork.
Largely solved? We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume. Indeed we are, my good fellow. As I predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie.
Yeah, where was it?
Do I confess, I've yet to partake in pie, proverbial or otherwise, or any food so far today, for that matter. I just haven't gotten paid yet.
Why did that need a sound effect?
That stomach rumble echoed across the whole museum.
Who acted for that?
So how did you manage to solve it so quickly? Oh, well, do you remember I said it was largely solved? Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone?
Oh yes, it's a most modern invention, allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet.
This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned.
Oh, so you just paid the ransom.
That's amazing. Just between you and I, it would appear that the culprit had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event.
But I thought whoever was responsible demanded a ransom, no?
Yes, I think perhaps the ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive.
Yeah, let's get into that. But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary?
Please don't piss on my cornflakes. The fact that I must ask you to keep from Madame Rosique at all costs. Have you seen her cauldron? I don't want to be in it. A hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street, after all. Think of her. Think of the poor girl. Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork?
Yeah, Kazuma. Let's get into the stuff here.
We're in the process of trying to track someone down, even though it's probably just going to happen of its own accord at this point.
Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. He's the swindler who duped Professor Debimbo and the engineer who built the kinesis machine.
A swindler and an engineer. Quite the modern man. He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. I like this guy. That's Psy'Min talking. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. We have so few clues to go on. That's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. Also, I've been standing here for literally 8 hours. I've got nothing. If I knew something of the man's appearance, at least I might be in a better position to help. Drebber's appearance. Good thing we picked up some evidence for that. Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, I shall gladly give you my thoughts on it.
Well, that'll be my cue, but first of all...
Mr. Holmes, you lying son of a bitch. Who, me? My dear Mr. Naruhodo. Stay that piercing stare. What is this about? You're a lying son of a bitch.
Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain aboard the steamship. Your words were very clear.
Did Asogi, make a deal with him somehow?
And that might have been part of the reason he was on the I don't know. I don't want to... There's going to be a stretch regardless, but we'll see here then.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. My goodness, that was a very good impression, Susan.
You told us that it was murder.
Quite right.
And you examined Kazuma's body.
Too true. 10-4. Indeed. And wherein lies the problem?
We met him earlier today. The victim, Kazuma Asogi.
The hell? You're quite sure? Are you positive about that?
He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure it was Kazuma. You must have known at the time, Mr. Holmes, that he wasn't actually dead.
Holmes, you son of a bee. Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere of the moment.
You're just gonna... I had a... Either he was hiding something or he was gonna blame this on one of his stupid little mental goffs that he is known for. And I'm not sure if this is an actual mistake or him pretending it's a mistake when it wasn't.
I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Mr. Naruhodo? You're not fooling anybody. You ain't no Kokichi. I could believe that the crewman present at the time made a mistake, but not you, Mr. Holmes. I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Uh-oh. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. Please, Mr. Holmes, could you stop messing around for like 3 seconds? Tomorrow in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. But now, I'm afraid that is all I can say.
What are you... No. Why do people keep things from the protagonist all the time? Just tell me. You're going to find a great mystery. How about you just solve that mystery for me right now, dipshit?
Mr. Holmes, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print? Are you good for this at least? It's of Mr. Enoch Drebber, the face of the engineer we seek. Well, all Englishmen are broadly the same, of course, so look at the photograph won't be particularly instructive. You all right, Mr. Holmes? Can we see that Professor waxwork for a moment there? Because I have a feeling... Ah, yes, forgive me. He's behind this curtain. Very interesting, this. Very interesting indeed.
What's wrong, Mr. Holmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden.
How can you tell? I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo. Will you indulge me?
Okay, we're either riding on a Roomba or we're looking behind the curtain.
What is it? I mean, you won't indulge me. Why should I indulge you? As I explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned. And I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken behind those thick curtains. Oh, yeah, the Professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it? For a mere 5 shillings. That's a special, one-time only price, you understand. What? The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Would you like to see the fruits of my labor?
Oh, well, we do have a rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps we could postpone.
The price is a very reasonable 5 shillings. I think you'll find it's well worth it.
He's implying heavily. There's no way the Professor doesn't look like the engineer. This guy is obviously dual classing.
Are you being quite serious, Mr. Holmes? Surely you need only look at my expression to ascertain if this is seriousness or silliness. No, I can never tell with you.
Yeah, exactly. Word for word. Thank you, Naruhodo. Very well. It couldn't hurt. Except it costs 5 shillings. Ouch, that hurt, actually. We don't have much money.
Gratefully received. So, special exhibit waits behind the curtain. I invite you to peruse it at your leisure.
Yeah, like I said, no damn way.
Well, the money's been spent, so let's go and see the special exhibit.
What's the waxwork? Through those heavy curtains at last, like you're looking forward to this, horror boy. Yes. Don't keep us in suspense. 5 shillings we've had to pay.
Doesn't seem right somehow that Mr. Holmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it? I learned it from Gina.
No. Ah! We can ask Gina to retrieve it for us, using her special skills.
Yeah, that's true.
Pickpocketing police officers and diddling detectives. Is this what makes Britain great?
I mean, this is how you just make money in this city. Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands or chip-loving inspectors.
Sounds like someone else is getting a little racist, Naruhodo. Inspector Gregson comes off rather well on that list, I think. I mean, Gregson's done his own stuff. Let's not remember the last case of the first game.
All right. Oh, come on!
You left the head off on purpose. Or is that going to be a Klimt Van Ziek's head? But actually that figure, spin that around a bit. My theory still holds, depending on what they look like from the front.
Oh, dear. I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here. Miss Susato! I say we turn on our heels and go straight home. Via a really big confectionery. I will buy you all the pies.
Well, we certainly can't do that. We paid 5 shillings already.
But pies! I mean, true. Actually, now that I'm looking a little more closely, we've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of the great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place. That must be what Mr. Holmes meant when he said the case was largely solved. But that's not what was hidden, right? That's not the professor. That's got to be a victim. Or is it? Be that as it may, Mr. Holmes heavily implied there'd be a clue about the engineer in here, didn't he? But where? Since we paid 5 shillings, let's do 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we? Okay, we're done. Let's go. Yes, we will get what we paid for. Is that fear or frustration that's making Susto's voice tremble? Yes. All right. I can't spin this. So are you not the professor? This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real. He seems to be a young man in a white overcoat, and he has a large shovel in his hand. Oh, wrong voice. And he has a large shovel in his hand, too. Perhaps we should investigate in a little more detail. Yes, swing around to the front. The front! That is not the front, sir. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. Show me the face, you derpy. Is it the camera? The camera's only the only thing here of interest. Yes. Yes. What's this here? Or what? Nah, man, I'm messing both of them up. What's this here? Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera. A camera? But it's so small. They make them this small now? British technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Holmes' skin prints? I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Holmes' inventions as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, why would the man be in a graveyard at night with a camera? Moshirige? I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film. Do ghosts show up on film? We'll just borrow this for a little while. What? Why? Why is that in the court record? But looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can see what picture was taken. What's a photographic plate? It's a piece of glass coated in a special emulsion that reacts to the light coming in through the lens. If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look. You should see yourself, Suzuto. Your eyes are shining. You do really like machinery, don't you? Wait, why would it have taken a picture at that exact moment? Is there anything else I can take a look at here? The butt? The butt? Is there anything about the butt? Lantern? That's quite a large lamp the man's carrying. Or is it a lantern? It's not unlike a Japanese Chochin paper lantern, actually. Lamp, lantern, Chochin. The point is, it casts very little light. To be walking alone in a graveyard at night with only this. Well, I certainly couldn't do it. I'm not sure I can visit a graveyard at all, even in broad daylight, to be honest. Pussy. Alright, hang on. I need to back out of here and take a look at this thing. So, we're just going to assume we can look back here and see evidence. Oh, look, I've ruined the negative. The cover came open. Yes, now, there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph you want to take, you see. Oh, is that the theory? Something wrong? There's no plate. It's been removed. Well, butts. Ah, what a pity. But I suppose if you think about it, this wouldn't be the actual camera that was used at the time, just like the waxwork isn't the actual person. Yeah, why would they have a working camera in here in the first place? It's a prop. So we'd never have found a photographic print of the executed convict coming back to life anyway. Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course. Poor Suzuto, she looks devastated. Is that it? It's in the court record for a reason. There's no way I picked it up for it to just be useless. Hey, check that out. What a wonderful machine. You really love contraptions like this, don't you? Oh, yes. Anything mechanical I find absolutely irresistible. Almost irresistible, surely. Well, whenever I see a pocket watch, for example, I can't help myself. I simply have to take it apart. That's worrying. Yes, Father tells the time by the rumblings of his stomach now. He's given up having a watch. I like that. Poor Professor Mikotoba. All right. Whoa, hey, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't even see that. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it? There's just blood everywhere nowadays. On the bellows just here, there seems to be some very dark red stains. Yeah, you're right. Looks like blood, actually. Was there someone murdered in here? Oh, my. I'm sure it's not what you're thinking. Haha, probably a prop. When the lens is extended, dark staining is visible. Is Is that all? I mean, I've updated my camera on a couple of occasions here. I think we're good. Wait, this implies there's still things to look at. I didn't actually investigate the shovel. Maybe that's why I don't get the check mark. Hey, shovel boy. Oh, do we get another talk about shovels? What a large shovel. He's holding it rather ominously. Yes, he is holding that spade rather ominously. Is he going to say it? That's a spade, isn't it? I don't recall this being part of the achievement, which is funny because it's still... No, it's a shovel. And I'm going to bean you with it if you don't shut up. No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. This is a spade. We've been through this, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a shovel. No. Although, we haven't considered trowels. I'm leaving now. We're allowing ourselves to be distracted, I feel. Perhaps we should concentrate on what the man was doing with the implement. So we're going to bury the hatchet? You're right, though. What was the man doing in the graveyard in the first place? That's the real question. Checkmark now? No. Maybe I'm just not getting one. Let's look at other things first. Let's see what else we got going on. Have I not examined this guy yet? This must be the killer, the fiend known as the Professor. Yeah, I think so. According to what Madame Rosique said, he killed 5 victims, all of noble or royal blood. The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place. Like all the headless models. I know, it does look like it could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only we've had a head, that is. Perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail, as we are wont to do. There's a year back here. Is that literally all I have? Or just the head? So this is the condemned man. Yes, the so-called professor, apparently condemned via guillotine. Then this perhaps, his head was chopped off by a guillotine. I was right. But unable to find peace, he's emerged from his grave as a headless ghost. Do we have to entertain such terrifying ideas, Miss Susanoo? Suddenly we're Halloween themed. Anyway, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's a metal fitting for it, see? And perhaps Mr. Holmes absent-mindedly forgot to reattach it? It's back in his office? That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it? Or perhaps the thief absent-mindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum. And that would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the head wasn't returned? Well, whatever the reason, it means we don't know what the face of the infamous professor looked like, do we? I'm not finding a whole lot of engineer clues here. There's something caught just inside the convict's jacket here. Is there? Where are you seeing that? I ain't seeing squat. Looks like a piece of broken glass, and quite a big piece, too. Oh, I see. Aha. Aha. Okay. So, the purposes that this waxwork was used for was for dropping out of the green balloon and then smashing through the ground, the glass there. And then the coroner lied her butt off about it. And then was like, okay, I'm done with this, I'm returning it. And here's a bit of glass from the Crystal Tower. Okay. Okay, pieces are starting to come together. I still want to know what the professor looks like, but we're starting to figure things out. Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from, I wonder? I suppose it must have been made thick to increase its strength. But why? Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particularly wide area, such as in a big building, for example. Just totally spelling out all the things Simon already says. Ah, well, we've seen a large glass building recently. Yeah, sorry, voice. Balls haven't dropped yet. And some of the glass was broken, too. You don't mean... Exactly, the Crystal Tower, the great exhibition. But why would glass from the Crystal Tower be lodged into this waxwork's jacket? Makes you think, doesn't it? No, I think I've pretty much figured it out already. Is that it? Earlier in court, we established that the kinesis experiment was a trick. Now we've discovered this fragment of glass here in this waxwork. Is it just a coincidence? So that was just the head? Weird we had to examine the head to get the whole body. But you know what? All right. Let's take a look at that real quick. I think we've already pretty much gleaned everything we can from this thing. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, nothing. All right. But you are checked, and you are not checked. We are clearly missing things. Maybe wasn't there a name tag or something? Ugh. I can't drag the cursor around because it drags the screen around, unfortunately. I'm just going to have to poke, poke, poke. I think I got everything. Ponytail? Ponytail is vital information. Check that butt. How about this angle? Nice tie. Don't care about the tie. Wait. What's this? I can't see his face very well, can you? Well, that's the fault of the camera angle. Perhaps if I just looked up slightly. Oh, do you think you should be manhandling the exhibits, Mr. Naruhodo? I'll put it back exactly it was, don't worry. Wait. Ah. That was stupidly hidden. Okay, so this is, So, Professor isn't the engineer, but the Professor is part of the exhibit or the engineer, I should say, is part of the exhibit for some reason. He was here for some reason. And by here for some reason, I mean here in this graveyard discovering something 10 years ago for some reason. They did make a point of saying he'd been wearing that monocle for at least 10 years, so that's fine. How can... I don't believe it. A black monocle. Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is... Yeah. Whoa, that's a picture. He didn't look that gaunt in the photograph. The color of his hair is different, but it's unmistakably him. So who the hell is the dude? I guess it's just going to be Klimt's head? No, not Klimt. Klimt was a victim. So it's going to be friggin' Sogi again. Indeed. Oh, I was going to say that's Rosique. It's not. Mr. Holmes. This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yeah, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? No idea. Why does the convict behind him have no head, Holmes? The head was missing. The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So then the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved were my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head tout de suite, as Madame would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. Yes, I'll be a waxwork in a completely different area of this museum, and I'm not fond of it. A very hungry iris still awaits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations. Ah. Do you know, though, something about this room is strange. It is a propped-up area. Well, the displays in the House of Horrors are supposed to be depicting real events, are they not? Indeed they are, Mrs. Doe. Do go on. And, as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... This surely couldn't ever really have happened, could it? Of course it did! And Suzuto just runs out screaming. I think it's time I educated you a little about the nature of the incidents involving the Professor 10 years ago. There we go. Tell us more. Resurrecting convict, get out. I believe I told you a little about the Professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had their throats ripped from their bodies. Ah, here's where the hound is coming in. It's all starting to come together. Oh, gosh. An enormous hound. How awful. Found the collar for that already. After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No member of the public were permitted. A closed court? So you mean the professor's identity? Uh-oh. As you surmised, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Vortex, calling it. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowell Gate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair. What? The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life. As if these guys... You're just terrorizing us now, aren't you? He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene as described by the sole witness to those chilling events, the engineer. There was a witness. But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in the white overcoat. Enoch Drebber. He saw it happen?
How is that going to play?
So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drebber. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old. It's so horrifying. Scared out of his wits, the young Drebber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Yeah, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page of the Capitol. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Rosique. I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly, but what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about.
In a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night.
Was he getting up to his Frankenstein with the corpses here?
What was he up to?
Were they somehow in cahoots or something?
The professor's act of terror threw London's upper classes into a complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever been systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder. Yeah, I can imagine the impact the case must have had. But in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale. But why did people stop believing it?
Why, simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established, in fact.
What do you mean by no resurrection? The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convicted body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution. No. But that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police and the newspapers.
That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes.
So who covered for that? Was it Vortex? Was it Scythe? Was it both? Was it neither? The young man subsequently vanished from society, and nothing has been heard of him since. Still saying it's Vortex. It's rather striking, then, that he should resurface now, don't you think? Of course, the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life. That's not possible.
He's not talking about the professor resurfacing. I mean, the professor is resurfacing in the fact that he's being a little bit more relevant in our talks with Van Zeeks. But he's got nothing to do with the case. Drebber clearly does.
But Drebber's hair is unusually white. If that did happen overnight as a result of shock, it's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie. You can't just lie your way into white hair.
Rosique?
What? What the bleeding Nora, Otto? What are you going and done?
Well, I'm assuming you found our man.
What are you doing here? Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. I asked Iris, and she said this is where you be, so... Gina, not so loud at the museum. Madame Rosique will have you take a position as a waxwork if you're not careful. I think there might be a more pressing concern. Is there? Oh, I still had some flash powder left from 6 months ago, so... All right, Gina, we understand, but please, put down the gun. Sorry, I got scared. You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel. So, what brings you here, Gina? What brings me here? What do you think? You found it. We found it. We found a dodgy Co's workshop. What? You found Drebber's workshop? Well, the good pupper did. Yeah, Toby's nose took me straight there. Boss and the others are headed over there now in a drag. So come on. Here's the address. I want the boss to write it down. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. All right, then. See you there.
Look at that salute. I like Gina's character arc. She's become more interesting. A lot more since last game.
You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here. Being still. What? I know my place. In the exhibit over there.
Ooh, he sounds like he's avoiding things.
Oh dear, someone is feeling sorry for himself. Why do you have no eyes anymore?
That's kind of creepy.
Let's go, Mr. Holmes, you're coming. Your words haunt me, I must say, but if I were to shirk my duties here, Madam would have me pay monetary recompense, and Iris's dinner plate would be empty once more. Forget that, I'll pay for everything. That's what I was waiting to hear. No. Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail a carriage at once. Not offer to share the cost from Mr. No offer to share the cost from Mr. Holmes, then.
I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruto.
Thank you, Miss Suzuto. All right, let's go.
I'm not sure what's going to happen with that camera. We just examined it and there was nothing. All right, well, this looks like the right spot. Pretty sure the dog did a good job.
That looks like...
Oh, it's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. Can we shorten that, please?
Indeed, it would appear so. Though only a prototype, naturally.
Oh, so you got it then? Gina, well done for finding this place, and in such little time. You've really worked miracles. Hang on a second. I just realized we got that card back. Oh, it didn't actually. Okay, we just got the address for the sake of plot. I was kind of hoping we got it in the record or something, but never mind.
It's Toby is the miracle worker. Oh, I thought you lot would show up before long. Have I mentioned I've been demoted and replaced by a dog?
Hello, Inspector. That's one knitted brow. No kidding. You just wake up, dude?
He looks like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips.
So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer?
Nope, he's still in the vent. Sadly not. We didn't find a soul in here.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us the chance to investigate.
Well, a bit presumptive there. Kind of making some assumptions here.
According to what Gina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue that you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to say go to Paris without a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I? Thank you. Anyway, if you're hoping to snoop around in here, I'd get cracking. Lord Van Zeek's and the Florestics Investigations team, aka FIT, are on their way here as we speak. They're jogging. Then again, I imagine you've got the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to lawyer types. Right. So then, my dear fellows, let's turn this place upside down whilst we have the chance. And you, Holmes. Pardon?
They take even less kindly to great detectives than they do to lawyers.
Ha! Yeah. Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than a waxwork. Yep, I knew it. Right then, let's see what we can find in here.
Alright, well, we are definitely... I feel like we're getting close to the end of the section, so that makes me happy. I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. That machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. Bloody hell it is. There would be serious repercussions if you were to examine it. From the Crown of the government. And Gina and Gregson and Holmes are just staring at it. They're like, special investigation. What now? Well, those two don't seem to be holding back.
It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of depiction to be seen, my dear fellow.
Yeah, there's a false floor.
No loose change dropped on the floor, nothing. Not even a bone for Toby here, my dear fella. British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they? I think that's just these two, Miss Suzuto. Alright, sure. Let's just examine everything. Ah, this appears to be most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say? It's an impressive-looking back massager, that's for sure. I've no doubt that if you hit your shoulders a few times with that, your aches and pains would soon go away. Why does it say King of Engineers on it? It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Ah, so not a back scratcher. Would you like a massage? No, I'm fine, thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing. I think it's becoming increasingly clear. Oh, did that trigger something? That there's much more to this Mr. Enoch Drebber than conjuring tricks. I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. And how about you, Mr. Naruhodo? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tight shoulders, of course. He's not going to let that go, is he? Are we just stealing it? It's curious, though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times. Huh. Alright, in my pocket with you. Airplane? Alright, cool. What on earth is this? An aeroplane, Mr. Naruhodo. One day, scientists believe it will allow humans to fly freely in the skies. Is that how the trick will be described, is it? Sorry? Well, it's actually suspended by a thin but very strong cable, isn't it? Oh, well, this model is, yes, but a real airplane would actually fly high in the sky. While suspended from somewhere even higher in the sky, of course. Because large metal objects obviously can't really stay in midair unsupported. So to you, the solution is ever taller towers? I mean, it would work, right? Don't diss my idea. Hey, Broccoli Head, I got a hypothesis. Check this shit out. Oh, arrows. Oh, we want those. It's a European-style quiver of arrows with steel bolts inside. Oh, do you suppose? Crossbow bolts, these. And just the right size for the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition grounds. In other words... Yup, that's more evidence to support your theory. It all goes to show that Drebber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the whole scam. Nifty. That's all I'm getting. I've already inspected this. The doorway. This door just doesn't want to open. Yeah, looks like it got a pretty hefty lock on it. There's a specialist locksmith on his way over from the yard, so hands off till he gets here. With permission, Inspector, I can have that lock open in less than a minute. Well, you don't have permission, and no one's giving it to you. Gregson looks as though he really enjoyed that. Yep, there's a screenshot. Well, there's no sound of anybody on the other side. No, Drebber must have fled at the first sign of danger. Shh. Oh, hey. I thought we were playing Amnesia later. Oh, that was a sound. Is something wrong, Miss Suzuto? Well, I thought I heard a noise from the far side of that door. Well, Gina, did you hear it too? Yeah, I'll have it and all. What do you reckon, Toby? I was going to say, let's get Toby's opinion on this. Right, never mind. Right, mind the grease. Yeah, we're not even going to try to pick the lock. Just whoever's in there, open up. This is Scotland Yard. Get your ass out here. Is that moving toward or away the door? See ya. Peace out. Good job, Toby. This is why the dog is replacing you. Oh my, someone is in there. Was in there. Oh, this rotten bleeding lock. My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only it were countenanced, I could unlock that door in less than a minute. Well then, fine. I'll take the rap for it. Just get us through that blasted door. He's gone. Zoom, click, done. There. You meant that way. You've confused minutes with seconds, I think. Time is of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for? Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency. There's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellows. Gina, have your gun ready. Suzuto, be ready to toss anything that comes your way. I have questions. Why is everything upside down? Yeah, things haven't actually just been turned over. Literally the cabinet. I mean, the stove looks like it's right side up. Is the shelf on the wall upside down? No, I don't think it is. This is a weird room. Ross! There ain't no one in there after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises. Maybe that was the sound of Mr. Drebber running away. But there's only one door into this room. Oh, well then. Either you got out through the window or something falling over. There are no windows that can afford escape route. Those skylights are too high. How do you know there wasn't a stepladder, ladder? Why are there footprints on the ceiling? Lionel Richie? Blow me. What do we have here then? Yeah, so much for don't touch nothing. Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry. You couldn't just take it with him? Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints. To what? To that Professor DeBimbo's balmy machine, isn't it? Blimey! If we'd had these, there'd have been no need to muck about trying to investigate all that scrap metal. There's something of great interest here, too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. A rope? What's significant about that? Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruto. We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation team arrives too. Thank God they just jog here. So that rope is going to be a thing, but, oh, hey, green balloons. That's a really lovely model. It looks like it's just like a real flying balloon. I think it's probably staying aloft on the same principle as a full-size balloon, using gas. A green flying balloon does have the hallmarks of that amazing deception at the Great Exhibition, doesn't it? Could it be that the whole thing was planned here at this very workshop? Most likely. Anything else along the roof? Gotta click every damn thing. Yeah, about those footprints. I got questions here. There's no denying it, is there? They're footprints. Yes, it would appear so. And I simply cannot imagine how they came to be there. Isn't there a Suzuto shoot-up or something? Like a Suzuto takedown, I mean? I'm no Wonder Woman, Mr. Naruhodo. That would make her almost superhuman, I suppose. Is that all I got there? What do we got? Lamp, nope. Cabinet, nope. Books. Safe! That seems interesting. That's a very large safe. I don't suppose even Mr. Holmes could open that lock. I don't know about that. Although, if you were a thief, you could just steal the entire thing, I suppose. Gina, get in here. We need you. It's bolted to the floor to prevent exactly that sort of underhanded trick, Mr. Naruhodo. Well then, you could just steal the floor as well, I suppose. There's that Ace Attorney logic. I'm sorry, but you really aren't making any sense at all. Like I said, there's that Ace Attorney logic. Anyway, I think we can agree that whatever is inside must be very important. Polly, what's the safe combination? Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah, we should probably examine this. Holmes seems to have taken an interest. Mr. Holmes, have you found something? I'm not a science person, so I don't know what little red sticks like that mean. Mr. Naruhodo, yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? Let's see. I've never seen anything like it before. Interesting clock. Suzuto, can you take it apart? It looks like a bunch of screaming. Miss Suzuto, what's the matter? Oh, she does know what it is. That's a... Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it? What did you say? How are you the only one who knows this? A time bomb? Nuts, I was going to steal it. Cold blimey. Sorry, what's a time bomb exactly? Eh? It means we run, now. You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruto. I won't take that as a compliment. Ha! You don't know nothing, do you, Otto? Is this the time to be lecturing me, people? You haven't got a clue? You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina? Can't fool me. Well, I invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruto. In the meantime, we must make speed. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it has a very similar appearance. Oh, well, thank goodness. But then, what is it? It's an actual bomb. I see. So that's it. Goodness. Mr. Holmes, have you seen to the heart of the matter? There are times when I consider my lot most unfair. Oh, we're about to explode. For I'm fated never to know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. Are we doing a theater? But I have learned to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective. Miss Suzuto, there we go. I feel a Roomba coming on. Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us.
Usually there's someone present during these. This is interesting. Has there ever been a great deduction sequence where there hasn't been a person involved? I don't think so.
Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself.
Oh, but how could you...
And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is, without question, completely genuine.
So, it is a time bomb.
Please, Mr. Holmes, you must explain everything. It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade.
This is my I'm putting up with Holmes face. I don't show it when Iris is around, but...
Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea anyway. Ah!
Oh, you deflected the inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Holmes. Well done.
You're too kind, my dear madam. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Kindly stand just there, Miss Suzuto.
Or are we going to dance around her? She's going to be our sample person or something for things.
So, shall we begin? Once again, Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his theatre of logic and reason.
Was that reasonant? I missed that. Dun 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 dun. Flipped furniture. Yeah, Suzuto's in the background there for some reason. She gets to be part of an object lesson, and she loves it.
It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray.
The bed.
Oh no, the bed, the table, and the chairs. Everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had, until recently, been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor.
Oh, Oh, yeah, we need someone to give us exclamation marks and question marks. So I guess that's going to be... Suzuto is just going to be doubting everything Holmes says. I have a feeling this investigation is going to hit a little different, and I'm all here for it.
Every item in the room was on the ceiling. Are you suggesting that... Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the earth.
Yeah, ever since Suzuto got off that boat, her life has just been a fever dream.
The gravity in this room was reversed and then suddenly restored to normal. Goodness. And I totally believe you because I'm fangirling. The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I quite understand your skepticism, Miss Suzuto. I too was incredulous at first. However, my conviction in my analysis was cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity device.
Almost identical to the one that featured in A Dream of Mine the other day, in fact. Yes, that's what those look like.
But then why does it have a clock on it? The most relevant question indeed. That is a timing device that controls when the gravity direction will switch. There was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that restoration occurred. Clunk. Yes, the reason why everything has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. Naturally. So, you see, we need to look no further to explain the state in which we now find this room. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Drever before being restored to normality in an automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I have witnessed precisely this scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. Yes, most helpful. You ever played Metal Storm? Is that the name of that game where you could flip gravity? I think it was Metal Storm. Hang on, now I have to Google. It was by IRM, if I'm not mistaken. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. No. Oh no, I was right. It was Metal Storm. Okay, I'm done. I almost thought it wasn't, but then it was. Moving on. Now let us consider the next conundrum. Where is that giant robot from Metal Storm? Because I want it. Where was our engineer's friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. He's huge fans of the Lionel Richie song. Yes, how is it possible that there are footsteps all the way up there on the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Is that how he got out? Of course, Drever's aim was singular, to escape. Makes sense? However, but there is but one way into this room, except in the skylight, that is. Okay, you have upgraded your Roomba, sir. By inverting the gravity here, Drever was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling and make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving those footprints behind on the way. But the ceiling here is very high, Mr. Naruhodo. If the gravity reversal was sudden, wouldn't Mr. Drever have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently? I'm sure he had his own Roomba. Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was cornered with nowhere to run, so escape through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope. To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? By anchoring one end of the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely to the ceiling. I feel like this is just Suzuto getting increasingly disillusioned as she's the one who gets to just be like, wait a minute. Sherlock, you're kind of full of crap, ain't you? Which explains how Drever was able to escape this room before our arrival. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun. Is there a button I can push? Quickly, somebody find me a button. Any button. Dun. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. I should have actually gone back to see if he said theater of logic and reason don't. Do I get to go that far back? I don't get to go that far back, do I? Oh, it did. Okay, logic and reason, but it was a single apostrophe. That's what threw me off. All right. Fair enough. Fine. Yeah, you probably just felt like you had a stroke, and I don't blame you. Also, maybe eat less fish and chips. Did something happen? I was playing with the puppas. She's completely spellbound. Okay, maybe she wasn't getting disillusioned. Mr. Holmes, there's just one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. If I'm Sherlock Holmes, you're Columbo. Just one question, real quick. One more question before I go. The thing is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean? I would say that with this man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 12th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis. So that's a no. But your whole deduction hinges on it. Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Ah. However improbable it may seem. Now we're getting to the Holmesisms. It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my most enduring pearls of wisdom. Quick, quoting yourself. Light iris come without exact phrasing. My original was clumsy. Yep, I have a feeling I've read it in something that Miss Suzuto lent me once.
Objection.
Was that Suzuto's objection? I'm not sure we've ever heard that before. I don't think she even said that when she was the lawyer in the first case. Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Holmes. Ah, the spell's broken at last. The rope you found was on the floor, wasn't it?
Indeed it was, in lonely coils near the wall.
But if Mr. Drebber had used it to escape in the way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall? ...
Yep. Mysteries inevitably unravel in the end, as I think you'll find do ropes. And as evidence of such, you need only look at the mystery we faced in this room, now skillfully unraveled. That argument is as circular as the coil of ropes.
Look at this look of pity on her face. Just pitiful humoring of Holmes. I think perhaps we might need to give Holmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth.
Do I get any credit for this? And we have to do it quickly before Enoch Drebber gets too far away. We have to finish our minigame so we can chase him. If you're ready, then let us resume Sherlock Holmes' theater of logic and reason. Hold it, Mr. Holmes. I smell bullshit.
She's so pumped.
It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. Well done, Holmes. The bed, the table, the chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down.
I do like this this theater with the things overturning and everything. It's funny.
Sawardo. Almost as if every item in the room had until recently been happily positioned on the ceiling before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling.
Oh, let's use it. Every item on the room was on the ceiling. Are you suggesting that...
Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear that the technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. Well, the gravity in this room was reversed and then suddenly restored to normal.
Goodness.
The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in the whole business.
Okay, I mean, that seems true. To think gravity could have been reversed on this very room, I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Holmes could conceive of such an explanation.
But the man himself had admitted it was a scientific impossibility, so...
Yes, you're quite right. We must completely discount the idea at once.
Oh, that's unusually merciless of you, Miss Susanoo.
No, it's not. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. The great detective himself said so, didn't he?
While refusing to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices, yes.
Yes, I suppose so.
Well, let's see if examining this topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that shows exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing.
I'm guessing I'm looking for something that's right side up. Oh, this is as far as I turn. The safe doesn't count because it's bolted to the floor. That cabinet is actually right side up. I mean, upside down. Get rid of this. Wouldn't the lamp have broken? What are these? Are those flowers? Oh. Is that the only thing here that's actually right side up? I think it is. I still think well, this seems obvious. It was also hiding behind the bed, so I'm pretty sure this is the thing. Hey, pretty flowers. Look at that.
I know, that slender little vase looks like it's about to topple at any moment. The flowers are thriving. Somehow it makes you think of the fragility of life, wouldn't you say?
To be honest, Mr. Naruhodo, something else about it made a rather deeper impression on me. Do I update, or is it just there? Okay, it's just there.
Take that!
Is that it? That's it.
But Holmes, this upright vase clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in the whole business, by completely eliminating everything Holmes was about to say. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you've surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Exactly. So shut up. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps? No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Holmes. Trust me. Your spotlight, your air spotlight, and your Roomba. As you rightly say, though it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down, this unassuming slender vase is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there is nothing affixing it to the floor. And it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, yeah, that's right, the gravity of this room was never inverted at all.
Yeah, suck it, Holmes. My deepest sympathies for your loss. Oh, Mr. Holmes. Carrying on. But the show must go on, so let us continue with our deductions. He bounces back quick. Now that we know this contrivance is not in fact an anti-gravity device, there remains but one other possibility. It is a bomb. Run. You don't say. What's that ticking noise? Someone deliberately turned over every piece of furniture in here. Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that? Quite, and naturally there's an explanation. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he? I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong. Well, there's no doubt that someone did this. Someone turned all this furniture over. So whoever it was must have had a reason. I don't know, searching for something? I'm afraid nothing comes to mind. Why turn over the cabinets, though? I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though. Well, let's look around and see if the answer presents itself. The reason why everything in here has been turned upside down... I can't move much. Oh! Oh, hello. So someone was looking for something. You couldn't have found this before you turned over the cabinets? Last thing they turned over before the flower vase. Look, there's something written on the underside of this armchair. You couldn't have just looked under it? Oh, yes, safe. 432582. Safe, as in safe and secure, as in secure lockable box, I think. Admittedly, more likely. Well, there is a large safe bolted to the floor on the other side of the room, so yes. So you mean this number would let us open it? I wonder why it's written here, though. Well, that was easy enough to find. Ooh, whoop. Oh, there it is.
Take that!
Ba-boom. Yes, the reason why everything here has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination. Precisely. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that you have a very similar experience once, did you not? Yeah, last year, when I bought a lottery ticket, noted the ticket number down on the inside cover of a book just in case. That's it, for people who are forgetful souls at heart and always make a written note of important information. Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think. And what, pray, happens next, Mr. Naruhodo? When the day of the draw came around, I'd forgotten which book I'd written the number and had to turn my room upside down to find it. That's it, for people who are forgetful souls at heart and always forget where they've noted things down. No, not if you always note things in the same place. Susan ordered book. I actually won the second prize, you know. That's why I've been able to pay my rent. But I couldn't remember which magazine I slipped the ticket into, so I had to thank you, Mr. Naruhodo, but I believe I've proved my point now. You can shut the hell up. Which is that very similar scene is clearly unfolded in this room. Finding himself requiring access to the safe, the occupant of this room needed the combination code. He remembered that he'd written it on the underside of a piece of furniture, but forgot which one. I don't know why he imagined that the cabinets would ever be something that he'd remotely think about, but, you know, maybe he's kind of eccentric. We'll find out when we meet him. Leading to the state in which we now find the room. Yes, Mr. Drebber overturned all the furniture in here in a desperate hurry to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe. I feel like lying down on the floor would have searched half the furniture in this room, but, you know, or maybe we're just putting mirrors on his shoes, you know? He's an engineer. Over-engineering things seems like something you could do. Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Getting into the safe. Also dancing on the ceiling. Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. I mean, we got rid of the gravity theory, so, you know. Well, if a change in the direction of gravity can't explain it, how did those footprints get there? Yeah, I feel as though that particular mystery has just become even harder to solve. I can't think of any other way to explain it. Oh, life was so much simpler in those halcyon days when gravity could be reversed. It was minutes ago, and those halcyon days never existed in the first place. Well, I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Holmes and observe the area in more detail. Putting our faith in Mr. Holmes is what gets us into these situations in the first place.
Would you trust someone made out of wax? It's on the other side of this, isn't it? Yep, I knew it. Why is it... What? I feel like I haven't gotten any new answers. I mean, let's look at it. It's hard to believe, but there's a shoe up there. Look. Were you trying to throw the shoe up here to knock the balloon down or something? Is that why there are footprints? Perfectly lined up like someone was walking, I might add. There's a shoe up there. Look. Oh, yes, and there are more footprints on this little balloon, too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there and became lodged, don't you think? If so, then judging from the number of footprints, it must have been thrown up several times. Why would anyone be throwing shoes up at the ceiling, though? Oh, dear. That's beyond me, I'm afraid. I mean, I guess we have our answer. After a fashion. I have the spotlight now. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well, also in a walking pattern for some reason. In other words, the aim was never the skylight at all, but the balloon. But for what purpose? A green balloon. That seems somewhat familiar data. There was a piece of a green balloon's envelope that Mr. Naruhodo and Iris found at the scene. And inside the green balloon that Master Gotts claimed he saw above the stage when the incident occurred, his voice was fun. I wonder if he'll be back in the next trial. The second birdcage, the crux of the whole instantaneous kinesis deception. You mean to say, if we assume the balloon in here is a model of the one used on that day, there's a strong possibility something may be concealed inside. I was about to say, is Trevor hiding inside it? Obviously not, but something's in it. Something our abscondo was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. Oh, is that the thump, thump, thump? So Gregson was knocking and Trevor was like, oh shit, bang, bang, bang. But he's still hiding in here somewhere. He's in the stove over on the wall. But the balloon's out of reach. Hence why he resorted to a projectile, namely the shoe. He couldn't have tied a rope to it. He had a rope. It's like a grappling hook. Most probably, Dreba intended to tear a hole in the envelope by assaulting it with a shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of those lofty heights. It's not that high up. Oh dear, we desperately need to examine that balloon. Do we? If there were only some way we could see inside. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. If it were tied to the shoe, maybe. To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? Mr. Holmes has managed to bring the deduction back to the rope. Yeah, he does tend to get stuck on those things. All right, I have to admit, that was clever. So we just throw that. The game designers are feeling themselves. So we just throw the rope up to the balloon and then pull it down to the ground. Which is much easier said than done, I feel. It could take us a very long time as well. True. Perhaps we need a more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we? Oh, do we still have the crossbow? I mean, it worked once. To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this crossbow? This was found at the scene, in fact. In all likelihood, belongs to Mr. Drebber. Or we could throw Tobias's fish and chips at it, because we know we'll never run out. You stay the hell away from those. If the man had only brought it away from them with him that day, he could have avoided losing a shoe at such a critical time as this. I still wonder why the crossbow was left, because the wording on it and the way it was presented very much implied that it was left on purpose, which makes no sense, but we'll see. So, shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is it that Enoch Drebber has hidden inside that balloon? A test dummy. Oh, come on. Is that the professor? Just show us his damn face. Who is it going to be? My God, it's going to be me. It's going to be the cat. The cat head on the human body. A wax. Where do you see wax here? In
Indeed it is. A waxwork head inside a metal mask. Is there a mask in there? It looked like just a stump. A mask that is shut tight and fastened with a strong and quite impregnable lock. So we can't see the face inside, that means. God, this reveal's getting built up. Just a moment. This is the head of a waxwork model? What does that mean? Oh, goodness. Oh, I see you've joined the dots, Miss Susanoo. Excellent. Ah, of course. A headless waxwork model. The case of the abducted Madame Rosique model that you've largely solved, it was only the head of the killer that was still missing. Indeed it was, but I believe Madame Rosique will now have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as you have no doubt surmised, is the head of the infamous professor. Can we see it, please? But why is it here? And in a balloon! This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame Rosique and returning it, sans tate, and earlier today, was none other than Enoch Drebber. This is incredible. Professor DeBimbo's case and the waxwork abduction case they're inextricably linked by Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's no way we don't open that. What is the face going to look? You can't build it up this much and have it actually be something that's going to have a huge payoff. There's no way. It's going to actually be Damon Gant at this point. Well, it appears that our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows. Please don't call it that. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure. The architect? You mean Mr. Drebber? I mean, he clearly didn't escape, so he's probably hiding somewhere in here. As it seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights, obviously the man must still be here in the room. He snuck out the door like 10 minutes ago. What? I mean, what? And his location should be abundantly clear if you simply reflect on the journey we've made together during the deduction. Is he the safe? Enoch Drebber is right here somewhere in this room. He locked himself in the safe. So, Mr. Naruhodo, will you do the honors? Yeah, of course. Mr. Drebber's hiding place must be the... I mean, it could be the cabinet, the wardrobe. But he said it was implied by our journey, which implies the safe. Because the combination. Why else would he need it? It's not like the waxwork head was there.
Take that!
Yes? That is a yes. Before we gained access to this back room, we heard noises from in here. Which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at this point in time. He was in fact searching for the combination to his safe. Pressed for time, made no attempt to right the furniture that he overturned in the process. From which we can deduce that his search for the combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Enoch Drebber,
What's this guy going to look like? We're going to see his face. It's going to be some kind of reveal, and then the chapter is going to end, right?
is at this very moment inside the safe.
Is it the kid? Is it Gotts? I mean, who? That's not a very big safe, considering how thick the walls of those things are.
He was in the vent, kind of. We thought he used the vent in the roof, but he actually used the vent in the safe that's a safe. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide-and-seek, don't you? By opening the safe, you mean?
He's dead. He's suffocated. He's just dead now, and we got nothing.
Let's see. The combination was 1...
435892. Whatever. 432582.
I knew that!
I mean, she's just looking down at the chair, Naruto. Don't be too impressed. Still wondering what that time bomb facsimile is for. Who are you? Oh, no, it is actually just you. And it's not the coroner. Maybe they're related? I don't know. I mean, technically, I don't know why her hair is white. We know why his hair is white, but we know it's not genetic. Because he got it scared into him. Okay. Yes, very cute. You gonna do the robot? I like it. I like it. Jojo pose, Jojo pose, Jojo pose. All the way up. Jojo pose. literally, yep, okay. Interesting. Well, that explains how you fit in there. Right then, sir. Mr. Enoch Drebber, I presume. I like him. I also like how his head bopped back and forth like it was on a spring when he came back up. Oh, God. Am I just going to give him a monotone robot voice? Maybe I should give him the Dr. Claw voice. Sure, why not? I haven't destroyed my throat in a couple of weeks. Yeah. Let's see. No, now I've lost it. Okay, my throat's not up for it. Forget it. We'll just do a robot voice. Correct. You better start talking. You tricked Professor DeBimbo with that bogus machine you built. And you shall have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Madame Rosique as well. Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions, personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Oh, it is a time bomb. Your parcel? I refer, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in a most prominent position. Ha! Ha ha ha. I see. Stunned silence. Nice creepy grin. You're all gearing up to die with me then. No! Mr. Holmes, with only 7 seconds to spare. Holmes, you asshole. You absolute piece of shit. That was too close for comfort. I got one foot in the grave already. Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed? I mean, I don't care about these guys, Holmes, but, you know, the puppy. Mr. Holmes's deductions can be completely life-altering, can't they? Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. The resemblance to an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say. Anti-gravity devices don't exist. Whew. I wouldn't push it, Mr. Holmes. You're going to get tossed. So, whoops, I wanted to converse. We've examined the room quite enough. What on earth happened in here? Were you hoping to ride the bomb out in the safe? You found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems. Yeah, well, we've been giving it a thorough going over, don't you worry, Trevor. What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop that I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt. Whistling? Ah, that would have been me, the waxbug. Oh. Also, I appreciate the bolt pun. For some reason, I woke in fine feather today. No words, just tightly squeezed chips. Clearly, I must have a screw loose, though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. We also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly, the rope was too short. So, I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe. And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably, though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the rafters. Why was that important? And after that, you hid yourself inside the safe. Maybe this is the professor's head. He's just been attached to a robot body. I wouldn't put it past the game. Oh, I also see the markings on his shoulder lapels there that match his business card. That explains that little pattern. Having first set this parcel ticking, well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. Got a death wish, have you? Hiding right behind a ticking time bomb. Probably felt he was safe in the safe. Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe. It's specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it. So, in fact, the safe was the only safe place. Precisely. But once you climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again. I invite you to look more closely. The safe was fitted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within.
Ah, so it is.
I had always intended to blow this place to smithereens in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans.
Do you mean to say you were planning to blow us all up?
Oh, you're just cluing into that now. No, that was unforeseen.
What do you mean?
Your animations take an hour, dude. Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet.
Ah, right.
I calculated the time required for retreat to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But you're seemingly in this discourse in here threw a spanner in the works.
Everyone just stares at Holmes. What? Is something wrong, Gregson? Do I have something on my face besides the usual eyes, ears, nose, and mouth?
I repeat, Holmes, you're a prick.
I think we have a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now, but what about the two incidents you've evidently been involved in recently? Professor DeBimbo's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to.
That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the Professor. Clad in a mask with a lock so strong, I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. Well, Rosario apparently knows what it is, because she made it. Whoa, I missed the... Hey, what are you doing here? Whoa, time out. I need to back up. I'm missing things. Let me get my history. Hold on a second. Back the hell up. I've been considering carrying it around as protection. After all. After all, what? Why would the identity be... Like, surely the identity would be publicly known if Madame Rosique, not Rosario, Rosique, made the thing. Like, just ask friggin' her. Like, can you sketch it? You're clearly good with faces. Make another one or something. You have a mold? You can't be that secret. It's an interesting idea. It's an interesting narrative plot twist function sort of mechanic. But, yeah. Well, in any case, it'll be interesting to see what the actual identity is. Because, again, they're building up the hell out of it. What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here. Oh, yeah, we've been wasting a lot of time, haven't we? Yeah, well, you guys... Yeah, we've been here like an hour. Dr. Psy again, so the forensic investigation team are here, doing their cool-down outside. And you know full well this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Vortex knew of this, you'd be finished. You lot, leave at once. My dear madam, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. After all, it's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Scythe? Hello, Holmes. Mr. Holmes knows Dr. Scythe. Mr. Holmes knows everybody. This guy's a networking pro. If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you are quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell. You get out. But of course, we'll show ourselves the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruhodo. That could have been interpreted as calling her Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? It would appear that our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for today. 7 seconds, Holmes! Let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands. I said get out. Now, all of you. Your presence here is not required either, Gregson. I'm deciding to give her more of a snake-like voice. It seems appropriate. Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never have found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb set here that this lot disarmed. Inspector, he's doing us a solid for a change. How do you think of that? I've activated my self-destruct. Something giving you a chuckle, has it, Drebber? So sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Yes. You did disarm that one. Eh? What are you... That one?
You mean? Gah, gah, gah. And we're all dead. Oh! That's... Ha! Well then. Hey guys, how's the investigation going? You find out a lot of stuff? You're just about to start? You're just about to get into... Never mind. So, Drebber, we're just gonna prosecute you and, like 4 or 5 counts of murder. You're just, we're done. No trial. Just going to jail. The enormous explosion that ripped through the experimental stage of the great exhibition. Professor DeBimbo's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. It had a trap door. That's pretty much all we need to know as far as I'm concerned. Surely the guy is still alive. Surely. Like, he must be. Hell yeah, we'll save our progress. Well. Yeah, well. I think I'll leave it at well. So, well then. Yeah. I'm going to stand by my theory that the engineer and the coroner are in cahoots in some way. They're clearly not the same person. I have a feeling they're related just because of their general appearance, although that's not necessarily the case. Maybe the girl with the bird head is their kid. I wouldn't put it past them. She seems like a mix of the two as far as her personality. Yeah, but, let's see. I mean, where does that leave us? Again, I feel like the victim is still alive. That seems fair. Maybe this guy is... Well, speaking of cahoots, he's got to be in cahoots with the financer. Meningen, or whatever his name was. And he's got to be hiding somewhere. Maybe snuck out from under the contraption after the experiment, which probably explains why it's on such a high platform, because he drops through it, he's on the ground, and then in the commotion, he just walks out, maybe with a bit of a disguise, changes his clothes under the thing or whatever. The waxwork, again, is explained. And not explained, because still, the identity is shrouded in mystery, and is no doubt going to be a huge plot point later on. Although I'm still going to assume that the body was used as a decoy for dropping from the green balloon. Again, hence why the coroner's in on it. Something along those lines. I feel like I've kind of got it in the broad strokes, so I'm kind of hoping, A, that something else comes up, B, maybe we get really clever about how we deduce this stuff, because we still have to prove it all, and C, of course, the more interesting mystery is the greater mystery surrounding Van Zeek's past, and who the hell, like, what is, apprentice Kazuma up to, and the professor, and all this other stuff. That is the more interesting plot as far as I'm concerned, and we're just kind of going to get through this to get to that. But that's fine. That's fine. I suspect that this case is probably going to be another average one, I feel. Kind of a little more underwhelming like the last one, because it's just kind of getting us to where we're going. The next case, that's going to be good. So I have a feeling we'll be able to do the rest of the trial. I think there's only one more trial part in this one, I think. And we will bust through that. And then we will be on case 4. 2 cases left, and knowing the way these games pace themselves, 4 is probably going to have a lot of good stuff. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up. I am on time despite numerous technical difficulties at the beginning of this trial here. Drebber, I am not, or at the very least my computer hates me, but at least it cooperated for the rest of the stream. This is a non-public URL that I had to roll with just because I had no prep for this. I'm just throwing it out there into the world, so nobody saw this. Nobody's watching this right now except me. So hopefully you catch this later, whoever you are, kind stranger. And we will see the next trial, I guess, on Monday. And we will wrap this up. And I'm looking forward to how that finishes. And, yeah, maybe the waxwork stuff will factor in a bit more. I don't know. I feel like we've kind of reached the end of the relevance of that stuff, but we'll see. Anyway, wrapping it up. Take care. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.